Okay, what is up, my fellow sackers? I have a banger video today. I got what I consider the 3 zombie goats, pillars of, Edison zombies. Fitz, Beastmode, and Jake. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And we're just gonna get right into it. I have intro glaze slides for you all, and I know we saw Beastmode's real quick right before this, but they have not seen any of these slides before, and all the questions today are first time. We have not discussed about them, so just curious to get your guys' genuine thoughts. And just want to point out there, zombies was the first Edison deck I really tried to get into before I realized I didn't like losing to Shura and oppression. So I don't know how you guys do it, but yeah, here we go. Okay, Beastmode, if you want to start and introduce yourself, and I'll piggyback off your intro.
Sure. So I'm Beastmode. I'm sure many of you have seen the YouTube channel. I have topped a few tournaments here, starting back about 3 years ago. I had a few tops that season, 3 or 4 in a row. Every year, every season, more or less, I've topped, with majority of them being zombies. This is probably my favorite zombie build. This season alone, I played in 4 tournaments, and I've topped top 8, 2 of them, and they were both with this build. So Ultimate Offering is kind of my flavor as of late. So
yeah, and then Beastmode obviously has that YouTube channel, so sub to him. He is my OG goat, I guess. When I first started playing Edison, there were very few content creators, and Beastmode was definitely one of the highest quality ones, and I watched all his videos to try to get better. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you got so much insight. And for those who don't know, Beastmode, I can attribute most of my success to him, because he randomly decided to pick me. Listen. He randomly decided to pick me up on War League when I hadn't played a single online tournament or anything. And by joining War League through him, I got much better. So thank you.
He was carrying that season. We needed you.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were all zombie team. You guys just needed another
we needed you. Yeah. Diversity.
Thank you.
We needed someone not playing zombies.
Exactly. Okay, next. JakeXO, please glaze yourself, sir.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Yeah, I'm Jake. Online and on the Discord and Dueling Book, I go by JakeXO, or Best Yu-Gi-Oh Player NA. That's probably where I've interacted with a lot of you. Like, I really roam the Discords, especially the zombie channel. I like to gap in there. I just like to chat a lot. And also, my main form of practice is just DB ladder. So I've interacted with probably a lot of you all just by playing you on DB ladder. I'm Jake, and yeah, just for an intro about me and like my deck and the tops. So yeah, I played Edison like back when I was a kid, but I kind of got back into it like late 2021, early 2022. And I literally only play zombies. I play nothing else. Xeris like won like the first or like second or third like Arbet. And I actually, believe it or not, I am a tier whore, and I like playing tier 1. So when I saw that he won, I decided to dedicate my life to zombies. Thinking it was the best deck. So unlike you, Eric, I did not switch because of Shura or oppression. Little did I know I was not like committing to like Fox or Marth, but Captain Falcon or something, or like Yoshi. Yeah. So, but yeah, I only play zombies, and it took me a long time to start performing with them. Like, I did not start performing out the gates like Beastmode or like Sochas or Fitz or like any of the top zombies. Like, it took me a long time. Like, I used to only net deck them, and just like for 18 months, like I didn't talk for like 18 months of like playing DB literally every single day and like entering tournaments. But after doing so, like I started to evolve the deck into like what is Diva Hero Zombies today. And like I finally started, like I hit this breakthrough, and I started top. Like I said, I was like this early bracket like exiter at like X2 every single tournament for like a year and a half. But yeah, I kept at it, and I guess like something clicked. I really feel like I'm the guy who like kind of practices like the same punch like 1,000, 10,000 times and just can do that one punch. Or yeah. Or like I don't know. I watched this anime recently, like this guy who just parries, like he just practiced parrying for like 10 years, and now the whole anime is like him just parrying everything.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of me with zombies. Like I really don't feel like I have any good like innate Yu-Gi-Oh talent or like innate like just like thinking for Yu-Gi-Oh. I just played so much, like so many zombie games. But yeah, like I evolved the list, and here it is on the screen. I'm really proud of these like 70 cards, and like I'm really proud of like the mark I've left on the format with this deck. I've tested and tried and theory crafted and refined this list so much over the last 3 years. And yeah, I feel like I've kind of accomplished every single thing I've ever wanted to accomplish with this deck outside of like actually winning an event. Or I've actually never even got top 2 in an event. I've got a lot of tops, but I've never won or got top 2. So like outside of that, I've like accomplished everything I wanted, and I'm really satisfied and happy with it. And like yeah, the market's kind of left in the format. So even though like I'm slowing down playing and I don't really have the fire I have anymore like I used to, I only have like a few more tournaments left in me. I'm just like I'm really happy and proud of it. And also like recently, sorry, I'm yapping like I always do, but like I am really happy to see like other great players that like I've looked up to. When I was like more up and coming, like like Sochas and like Zabo, like finding success with the list in the last couple months, so, like it adds a lot of validity to the list for me, and just like the changes I innovated. So yeah, I guess while I'm yapping too, like I love One Piece and Naruto and Pokemon, and I love chicken katsukuri and like my cat, and yeah, I live in New York now. We have the strongest Edison scene in my opinion. So
How do I? Do you want to get off my
words?
call?
I love to meet people, and I love to okay, that's like my whole intro, I guess. So
Didn't you also get you were first on DB ladder for a minute, weren't you?
Oh yeah, that's another accomplishment. Like just for like a couple of days, like I got it with only zombies like back in February. So
yeah, dude,
I don't know if anyone else has done that. So
you've done so much with the list.
No innate Yu-Gi-Oh talent is crazy.
I only play DB ladder. That's the only way. I only practice with DB ladder and like my friend
You're
Tia
grinding,
/
bro.
Ichigo Kurosaki / like Matt. So
I
that's
play
it.
0 ladder. 0.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's
same.
what I'm saying. I just play so much, and that's the only reason why like I can cook.
I've played 0 ladder matches like the last 2 seasons or whatever it is.
And you guys are both better for it. I promise you.
I gotta pop open this salsa water and drink my TV static real quick.
All right, thank you, Jake. And then last but not least, Mr. Fitz, it is your turn, sir.
What up? What up? Yeah, I'm Fitz. Got back into Edison early 2022, I believe, after not touching Yu-Gi-Oh for like 8 or 9 years or something. Retired long ago, and then found out retro was a thing. Found out about Edison, got back into it, fell in love. And then my first deck back in Edison was actually Flame Bell Zombies, which I played a lot of for a very long time, longer than I should have.
You had some tops with that, didn't you? You were the guy playing that actually, right? Or was that someone else?
Yeah,
that was you.
I like bubbled a couple times.
Okay.
Like I got like literally 17th at a format library tournament. I won a BCS with it once. That was
right.
Like,
Yes.
I guess my big accomplishment. No, but I think it was like 2 or 3 times I'd like it'd be like a win and in type thing on the bubble, and I'd lose every time with it. And then yeah, I transitioned away from that. I got my first win or first top, and then turned out to be my first win last year with my like dragon deck, my homebrew flip dragon thing, which is pretty cool. And then after that, I kind of like pivoted back to Diva Zombies and was like, all right, a Flammable Zombie will always have a deck in my heart, but like I can't cope this hard. Like zombies have enough weaknesses when you're not like running Flammable bricks. Like I should just be summoning Caiuses and Divas. That's at least a little bit better bet of winning games. And then yeah, I didn't see any. I've played zombie variations for like as long as I've been into Edison, but it wasn't until I switched to like the instant version, which I think was like very end of last year, because I think the Kraus guy topped in September with it was the first time, and then like I don't know, very end of a couple months after that, I was like, let me try like splashing in some instant fusions in my old Diva build, and then that's kind of when I started. Played in a few tournaments and had a pretty good run with it. You can see in that picture there, like I entered a 3v3 tournament with that's me, 10-foot, and ×2. We won Ghost Rare Black Rose Dragons at a 3v3 event. I was playing Instant Zombies. I got second at the like Edison World Qualifier online thing earlier this year with Instant Zombies, and then most recently top 8'd the biggest RBET ever at Arbit, Maryland with the list. So yeah, I don't get to play in every tournament, but when I play in the ones I can, and been bringing zombies lately and had some enough success to get invited onto the Sack Space channel.
Dude,
so
of course,
excited to be here, and
you've been topping forever.
Sure.
That's the goat.
Also, I didn't know that Flammable Zombie guy was you, because Flammable Zombie is also one of my pet decks.
Dude,
there's a video.
Deck, yeah.
There's a video on my old YouTube channel from way back in the day when I was a kid, and I uploaded it. It's still on YouTube, a Flammable Zombie deck profile.
Yeah.
And obviously, I did
Well,
have
when
Dark End Dragon, so I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
Yeah, my that was my intro to Edison. Was like Stardust Dragon's my favorite card ever. So I was like, how can I make Stardust Dragon like as often and like efficiently as possible? And then I was like, oh, Flame Bells. Oh, like I can Synchro Magician and Goblin and get a search. Like this is awesome. I'll just do
Yeah,
that.
just
And then
plus.
I kind of like enjoyed the zombie engine a lot. I find it like super fun. But then ended up was like, yeah, Rekindling is just the juice ain't worth the squeeze, you know.
Mm,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that
Stardust
deck
is
is so cool.
Love
It is
Stardust.
though.
My favorite also.
Yeah, Stars is so
Yeah.
sick.
He's my G.
He's a G.
Okay, moving on. So the nice thing about having all three of you here, besides I feel like I consider myself good friends with all of you, is you
Mhm.
guys all play different zombie variant, even though it is like the same core. Fitz, you're the instant zombie guy. Beast Mode, you're the ultimate offering. Well, Beast Mode, you're the OG. You're like Rognek for zombies, but you are the
Yeah.
ultimate offering guy. And then Jake, you are the Diva Hero zombie guy. So the first slide, and I think this will be fun, is one, why do you guys play the build that you guys have picked? And two, why is your build better than the other two guys' build?
boy.
I'll start with Beast Mode because Beast Mode, I know you've made videos on this endlessly, and I enjoy your thoughts on it. So let's start with you.
Yeah, so I play Offering because it's very much similar, or it's probably the closest build to the OG deck that Jikes made like 3 years ago, and a lot of my tops were early zombies, and I actually was playing Illblood back then. And my most recent list from Nationals, I went 7-2 at Nats, did include Illblood. But the reason why I play Offering is because it feels like old school zombies, and you just kind of can grind and play that slow game, which is what I enjoy doing. I literally will never take a -1 if like I'll lose the game before I like get blown out by heavy storm. That's just the way I play. It's probably not the right way. I'm not going to change the way I play. That's just how I do it. But this list is very slow, and Offering is one of those cards that when you look at it, you don't really realize how broken the card is. Like, it makes things miss timing. Opponents don't know what they're doing. Like, you flip it over, you don't actually activate the effect, you just activate the card, and your opponent goes, okay, and then you pay 500, and then they, like, try to MST it, and you can just chain to infinity and, like, drop your whole hand. Like, there's just a lot of rulings that people aren't aware of, and it really is a broken card. And when I look at this deck compared to the other builds, it's not as quick a lot of the time, but when you have Offering, you can just win the game. Like, Offering is better than Instant Fusion when you have Offering active, because it literally says you win the game when you just, and all you need is a Sanguine, a Goblin, and a Tuner. Like, or sometimes if you have Goblin and like an Illblood, you can literally just search the deck and go off with Plague and everything. So it doesn't take a whole lot. Excuse me. So that's why I play it over Instant, because I feel like Instant Fusion doesn't actually help what the deck loses. Like, it loses to Royal Oppression all the time anyway, where Ultimate Offering at least says like normal summon a monster, it doesn't say special summon. So I feel like Instant Fusion doesn't really help in that sense. And the Instant Fusion can be explosive, it can be a little bit quicker, which is good into frogs, sure. But Offering can also be good into frogs. Like, if you have Offering and they just don't have Battle Fatal or Gores, like, you can just combo off and kill them. Like, I beat people turn 2. So I just don't feel that Offering is, or rather, I don't feel like Instant Fusion is solving any problems. And then the hero version, I just feel like, and I've really looked at it, and I know Zabo91 just had like a really deep run at one of the
Ultimate
Ultimate
Time
Time
Wizard
events.
Sacramento.
Yeah. Had a really deep run, I think second place, and like I like his list a little bit more than Jake, and that's not like I'm not trying to be an ass or anything, because the style of play I just enjoy a little bit more. I feel like I see what he was trying to do, and the build is, it's not as explosive as Diva Hero. I just feel like if you're trying to kill people in one turn and like blow people out of the game, then just play Diva Hero, because both decks are pretty inconsistent. Like, I've watched a lot of Jake's games, and like there are hands where he just loses because the deck flops and bricks. And sure, there's a little bit of a mid game with like a Pyramid Turtle. Sometimes you can stall it out and get there, but like a lot of the time, when the deck goes off, it goes off like turn 2 and it's so explosive. But Diva Hero does the same thing. So I feel like if you're trying to play an explosive deck, just play Diva Hero. Or I feel like Zabo's deck is a little bit geared more to the zombie strengths, which is a little bit slower playstyle. He doesn't play the Gold Zarks. He's kind of just not trying to kill people turn 2, but maybe turn 5. And so again, I don't think Hero is bad. I think Hero in a vacuum is probably better just because of the ceiling. Like, you can win more often turn 2, but also the dead hands you just don't get to play at all. And that's why I play Ultimate Offering, because maybe I don't win turn 2, but I just feel like most hands I actually can play the game, and I just want to play. So that's it.
It makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, that's why I switched to value, because I could actually play the game.
Yeah. If I can play, I can win a lot more just playing
Right.
the game.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. Jake, having Beast Mode Flamey, we can go to you now.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but also
Um,
Jake, you evolved, you essentially pioneered this deck. So,
Well,
yeah.
well, Stilchis was the one who originated the zombie hero deck. Like
right.
old
Yeah.
school Stilchis. A lot of people probably don't remember that. Like he's been around forever. And then Jake has done a fabulous job like refining the deck. And then Zabo, which is a very similar deck, and I made a video about it. It's like 4 or 5 cards different, but it really changes the way the deck plays.
Yeah, like Zawa plays 4 cards different from me. I actually don't think it changes the way it plays like at all. But he puts 2 Dust Tornadoes over Solemn and Raigeki Break. So, and I've always said Solemn Raigeki Break could be either Trap Stuns and Dust, and then yeah, he subbed out the Gold Sarks.
Well, that's a big thing, right? Gold Sark
But
is a
I
good
sat out the
card.
Gold Sark. I mean, I sat with the Gold Sarks all the time, game 2 and 3, and I have like 200-300 games like without Gold Sarks. And at the end of the day, you're still summoning the heroes. You're still playing around like Miracle Fusion. You're still playing around like getting off the Diva Goblin Zombie. Like the deck, it's still like it is really similar. But the reason why, what was the question again, Eric? It was like why, and
Well,
then
Yeah.
Why is it-
Why do you play your deck, and why do you think it's better than the other two?
Okay, so yeah, why I play the deck is because I think the deck is sick as hell. Like I started watching Sochas play it, and then also a True Hero playing Diva Hero, and yeah, I was just watching them combo and just like body people, and I was like, dude, this is just so sick. So this is definitely the type of zombies like I want to play. Plus, like I just see I'd like literally would watch like Sochas play, and I would literally pause and like think like what is the line here, and he does something completely different, and I'm like, and it works, and I'm like, holy moly, like this deck has so much depth. Like there's so much like I said, like I'm a person like when I want to play like something, I really into it. Like I did for like Edison is like I go really deep and like I grind, I play a lot. Like it becomes like a biggest hobby, and I wanted like a deck that I could express that type of passion and like kind of like skill and like just yeah, it just has a lot of skill expression. Like I think more so than like almost any other deck of the format. Obviously that's an argument for that, but yeah, so that's why I started playing it. And yeah, so I used to just net deck Silches, but
Now
and
it's
I
the
did that for, like,
opposite. Now he net decks you.
yeah, I used to just net deck Silches, even Beast Mode. I learned a lot watching his channel when I was getting better. Now I tried his version, I didn't really like it, and so I net deck Silches. And but I don't know if I know zombie players remember, but like for everyone else, in 2023, the first 6 to 8 months of it, zombies were actually like in the trenches. Like Silches wasn't really playing anymore. Like Beast Mode, you weren't playing that much. No one was playing it, and I like no one to look to. The only person I had was a True Hero, like playing like Diva Hero, which is like kind of similar to like my list. That's all I had to go, and that's when he went on the next one. So I spent that whole year with like no inspiration. Like I had to kind of grind this out and test this myself, and that's where that 6 months to 8 months of refinement is like where a lot of my innovations came, like the Sarks, like the Greffer, like the staple spells that all the Diva Hero plays, like the 11, like all the traps, like the 8 trap lineup, the 7 to 8, like all this stuff, the exact 21 to 22 monsters, like all this like on the list is like yeah, like just kind of perfect his ratios. And this list hasn't changed much in like the last year. Except like yeah, the 2 to 4 cards you can swap. You can swap out the Sarks. And then yeah, the Raigeki Break. I've top tournaments and won locals like with Dust there, with a Compulse there, with the Deep Prison there. I always gonna pick Solemn over over Dust Tornado or Trap Stun. That's just how I am. I'm a huge Solemn believer. I know it's a whole other discussion, but anyways, yeah. Anyways, that's why. But that's why I started playing it. But the reason why I think I think like all 3 of these lists sit pretty similar on the tier list, but and you all feel free to disagree, but like I for sure think like my version at this point is the best version of zombies and it's the strongest version. But it depends like how you rate like what the strongest is. Like maybe like Fitz's version has the highest chance of like actually winning a tournament, but I think mine can most consistently like get you there, and like that's kind of proven with like the year I've had, I feel. But yeah, I just think it has the best matchup spread, and I think its peaks in terms of power is by far the highest, and also has like a lot more depth and in terms of lines and things you can say and mixes up. And I think that goes a long way because like as the game progresses, linear gameplay, unless you're playing Blackwings or Fogs because their cards are just unfair, like linear gameplay is going to get more and more punished. So like having complexity and like playing so many different one-ofs and so many different lines, like it makes it a lot harder for you to get your cards to get read. And another reason why I love the deck and I think I prefer it is I think as one of the best like you save yourself, like you're behind, you're from behind, but you can get like one card to draw and like you can still win the game. I feel when you're in these situations, like I feel like Blackwings is really good at this, and so is Fog. So you can just draw Mirrorcore Kai, so you can just draw Blizzard. There's a lot of cards in my deck in mid to late game I can just draw, so even when I'm behind I can steal games, and I do steal a lot of games like this. And yeah, the big weakness is the bricks, and like you just lose the deck dev and RO, but that's just push comes to shove. Like I feel I win a lot more games through the hero cheese, like what turn 1 and 2, than I lose like to bricks. Also, play Stratos. That card's OP. He's a Giga Chad. And yeah. But I will say, like, I low key like do think Fitz's like current build is like a masterpiece, like the one from Maryland. We've talked about it a lot, and it's like perfectly designed for like what the meta is right now. And I think it's just such a nice deck. Like it's really well thought out. Like Fitz ran by a lot of things to me, and I like his logic is like really like flawless. And I think it's like no mystery why he cooked so hard, like at Maryland.
You're supposed to be talking shit about my brew, dude.
Yeah.
Quick glazing,
and
man.
then yeah, I know it's good. And then as for offering, I'm gonna be honest with you, I just like no one really plays it but you. Like I honestly like don't even have that strong opinion on it. Like I don't really like when I play it. No one really plays it. Like I don't really see it getting played. But you cook with it every single time you use it. But like I just can't like really like point out like the flaws, so maybe mine's just the best off of vibe. I don't know, but anyways, that's
Beastmode. Why haven't you made a ultimate offering video yet? Like how to play this card? Because I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like
the card's extremely difficult to play. So the reason why people don't play this deck is it's not as flashy. That's and then this is a matter of opinion, right? I can't fact check any of this, right? But I feel that, and if you look at the zombie thread, it's way cooler to and then Stratos is broken. It's way cooler to slam heroes and play Gold Sarg and play Miracle Fusion.
It is way cooler.
Way more fun. It's way fun to combo. But the reality is, if more people played offering, and the problem is the deck's hard to play, and they don't want to play slow. They get punished if they don't play. Like it's hard to play. But there is an Italian player, I don't remember his name, who just topped their like nationals or whatever. He got top 16, and was playing offering build and had Scarecrow in it. Not the exact same, but Dark Bribes and stuff. There are people who play it, but it's like they're not many. So I don't know the exact reason why, but I do think it's likely flash. It's not flashy.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Well, I don't think there's like a ton of good zombie player period, and I think like even in smaller subcategory of people that choose to go with offering, because like you said, I think it requires the most patience out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of people have what it takes.
Is that why you play instant zombies?
I mean, that's actually that's one reason why I love the hero version too, and I think it's a little different from the other two specifically. Is a lot of the hero version is like you kind of just taking punches on the chin a lot of the game, and you're waiting for that one opening. Like you're just making the right reads, like playing the game, like unbrick, like stuff like this. And I really like that gameplay where like you're just really trying to find that one like OTK opening. I really do like that type of gameplay. So
yeah, I think that's with most zombie builds though. Is like you're just trading, and then you find your window, right? That's
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Fitz.
So
that's the gist of it.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll talk about kind of like how I ended up on this list as opposed to like other versions. I can speak more towards the hero version because I've played that somewhat extensively for 2 separate periods actually. Sizzle, the Arbit you won, Arbit Orlando. I was actually there playing hero zombie.
Oh.
I didn't do too hot, but I was I played that deck for like a month or 2 at that point leading up to the event and was like feeling pretty good about it. But yeah, the reason I ended up kind of moving away from hero zombie was I just like especially after like discovering the instant fusion tech was like Beastmode, I prefer the the grind game of zombies more so than the like go all in type, which I feel like the hero version leads itself much more towards that than the slower, more recruiter heavy version. And I wanted to play like that, like the float into goblin, sack for monarch type thing, but the instant fusion kind of like gave it some more speed to where like my own turtle or goblin gets Caius, and I'm stuck with like these divas and Caiuses in my hand that don't do anything. Whereas instant fusion is like no pun intended, an instant way that you can suddenly turn your hand on. Like, oh no, my goblin zombie just got Caius. Okay, well now I have instant fusion, make a monarch play. My book of life is now live from no setup, and I really appreciated adding that type of speed, especially with frogs getting more and more prevalent. Stuff like frogs, lightsworn, etc. Like stuff where you really want that added speed. I felt like it let me play the version of zombies I like playing, just as like instant fusion not being like the name, like it's called instant zombie, but like there's only 2 cards in my deck. It's just a tool within Diva Zombie that I felt like gives it additional speed. It makes Book of Life live more often, because I don't know if you guys have looked through the zombie pool. Outside of the ones everyone play, they all suck. Instant fusion is another way to get a zombie in graveyard quickly, and a pretty good one at that too. Like Reaper can just like cheese like cheese games. Like I actually played against Zabo at Ultimate Time Wizard Sacramento. I was his only loss in Swiss, and I got off like game 3. I got off like 3 separate Reaper of the Nightmare rips, where he's just like sitting on Future Fusion with like Abzur and Reaper, and I'm taking damage, but I'm just like discarding his whole hand until I was like able to Black Rose and then win from there, because he just had no cards. But yeah, I think the deck is like plenty potent, and like I unlike Jake, I just can't deal with the malicious variants. That guy just like shows up at the worst possible times. Like am I top decking war? I need any playable card. I rip malicious, or even when I have malicious, I don't like how it makes me play the game. Like I'll have a Stratos in play, Diva in hand, Mally in hand. My opponent could have 2 back row, and I'm like, well, I have a body on board, and if this gets cleared, I'll have nothing to do with my Diva. And then I guess I'll go for a Brio line, because that's let me pitch the malicious, which again is otherwise just gonna be rotting in my hand. So I guess I'm going all in now, because it's the only way I can play my cards. And like the duel is probably just gonna be determined by how this goes. And I'd like much prefer like I feel like the Diva Goblin play without malicious is still plenty enough ceiling without like forcing you into these lines. Another thing is like floating into turtle. If you have malicious in hand, you might float into Zombie Master to pitch it to revive the turtle, whereas it might be better like if you have Caius 2, you just want to go into the goblin. I felt like it just kind of got me into these weird states where it's like I like how the flow of normal zombie like going through the engine more. And yeah, I kind of just wanted to play that. And I thought instant fusion was basically just like a nice little spark to stick into the traditional Devil zombie list. And then I ended up adding like the Ryza 2, like an extra conversion for the instant fusions in Book of Lives, because like Beastmode has said it in the past too. Like sacking Goblin for Caius is like your strongest play in the grind game. That's how you like fight through the back row and open up those opportunities for your kill shots. And yeah, I felt like I wanted a 4th Caius. That's why I added in the Ryza. And that's kind of like just how I ended up on the list that I did. And then in terms of why I don't play Ultimate Offering, I did briefly try it, albeit only for like a couple weeks before I kind of moved back towards the instant. I feel like, yes, Ultimate Offering gives you a bigger ceiling. Like when you have Ultimate Offering plus Goblin or Sangan plus a like Monarch or Tuner, the world's your oyster. You can just like win that turn and go super plus. But they're essentially like instant and ultimate offering are kind of trying to solve the problem of like giving yourself plays when you don't start your turn with a monster on the field. Instant fusion's a bit more straightforward. You get something to sacrifice or something to synchro with. Ultimate offering, it needs to be part of 3 cards, right? You need the offering and the searcher, Sangan or Goblin, and the payoff card. So it's a bit more situational, but for higher ceiling. And I kind of just opted to go with like I got comfortable with the instant and how it played. I thought it like gave the deck some useful tools into matchups like frogs where you want the speed. And it was just like I don't know. It's not a perfect card, but I felt like it was just kind of like it felt smooth to me, more smooth than Ultimate Offering from the brief time I tested it. And it let me play the game with I thought was a reasonable ceiling without having to deal with the brickiness of adding in the hero stuff. And that's kind of just how I settled in, and it was working for me and stuck with what worked.
Oh, Eric, you might be muted.
Yeah,
You're
Sizzle. I don't
muted,
think.
Oh
I think
yeah,
you're
sorry,
muted.
sorry. Yeah, I was just say
You're good.
it's interesting that all three of you guys took zombies and try to address the issue of it being like essentially like too slow because you need a monster, like that is the issue with zombies. Whereas Beast Mode and Fitz kind of just use offering an instant fusion to address that issue. Jake just said, "F it, I'm just gonna go balls to the walls when I do have that monster on the field and say, F it."
Dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I love Malicious, I love the combos he enables, and I love drawing him. Honestly, I only don't like drawing two, but you draw one, you see it. So it's so good.
Yeah, you're the only guy
It's
I've
so
ever
good,
heard
you
that
can
says
use
I
it.
like malicious. What the hell?
You draw one, you
I-
can use it. You just can't draw two.
Yeah, I wish I shared the same love for him that you do, man. But
Oh,
I don't know. I
play
play this. I play this game for fun, and top decking malicious is like not fun for me. I don't know.
Just yesterday, I was playing on ladder with my friends, and I topped at malicious, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes!" Because it just enabled the OTK combo. It's nice to top it. It's nice to
Happy
top
for
it.
you, bro.
Yeah. That card
I'm
is
happy you're happy.
ass.
Dude, get Stardust too, which like beats two of the three top three decks. So,
True. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if I win all those games.
Yeah, I mean, and Future Fusion and Stratos, they're good cards. I
Yeah,
get it.
Future Fusion is great.
The
Future Fusion is so
ceiling's
good.
there. The ceiling's
Yeah.
definitely there.
Okay.
And Miracle Fusion. Anyways.
Okay, next slide, matchups.
Well, why is there no 40-60? This is zombies we're talking about here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
True,
for sure need a
true,
40-60.
true.
I think we're gonna
We
need
for
that.
sure need a 40-60.
That is so funny.
Yeah, this is not the frog video, bro.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So 40-60 meaning we win 40% of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, we can start now. So I know like all three of you guys play, essentially a different deck, so I will be a little, iffy on some of the matchups, but I think most of the time it is pretty close. So we'll just go through this real quick. I only put these decks because I think these are the most relevant decks. I don't care about a lot of these down here.
I wouldn't mind putting like the instant zombie there. We can talk about, because I do think that there's some nuances to the mirror match. Only if you want to. Like I think there's some differences.
I'm down.
in the ditto.
I'll still put it up here though.
Okay, actually, yeah, that's good.
We can talk about that later, I guess. But I just want to focus on the actual other decks.
Yeah. Of course.
So that's so funny that you guys added a 40-60, and I feel like I know where this is gonna go. But where are you guys? This is the biggest question, in my opinion, and the reason why I think most people don't play zombies the most is because of this matchup. So
I would agree.
This is for sure 40-60.
Yeah, I
For
agree.
sure.
Beast Mode,
I do think Beast Mode's version with the offering and like main deck Starlight Road might be a different story, but from the versions I've tried, I'd say it's probably 40-60.
I feel more like you said. I think it's more 45-55. Like there are tournaments where I'll play 4 of them, and like one of my last tournament runs, I played 5 Blackwing total. I won 4, and then of course I lost top 8 to Blackwing. So like it can just be, and then there's the day where you just don't beat any of them. So it's hit or
Yeah,
miss.
it depends too, because I honestly like my tournament like win rate against them is probably closer to like 55-45. That's only because I'm better than them. Like against a
Yeah,
good Blackwing
agreed.
player, I'm in trouble. There's so much
I
that
think
can go wrong.
we all perform well, against Blackwing players because like
Like,
we know
I-
the matchup and we study
yeah.
it.
I don't think
Exactly.
it's a winning matchup though. Either way. I don't
No.
think so.
I think I have a winning record against Blackwing in tournament. That's only because I'm
Me too.
being up the Joe Schmoes of the world.
Exactly.
The
Me too.
second
Yeah.
I get I get into the late rounds against Blackwings, like
Yeah.
I know I'm in for like an absolute war where
Yeah.
there's a lot that can go wrong.
Agreed. I think this is like our worst matchup, easily 40-60. And I don't even think it's like dabbles into 45-55, at least for like my version. I just think they play too many cards. Like it's too hard to make a read. There's too many things that answer us between Colute, like RO, deck dev, like oppression, and then the clap black with Blizzard on one card, like Brunak destroys us.
Yeah,
They just play so many traps. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like the Blizzard thing's underrated because I feel like
Yeah.
you can grind so well and you actually get to like a favorable point where you summon a Caius and you're up a card and they just go Blizzard Goyo take it and like
Yeah.
that's the exact turning point
Yeah.
where you just
Exactly.
like lose from there. It's yeah.
Like
It's
you just
rough.
can't play around Icarus, Deep Prison, Colute, like all these cards. Like when you're going for a combo. Plus, like
Yeah.
the biggest reason why we get cooked so bad is just the attack threshold is just way too high for our deck. So like 1800, 1700, 2000, like zombies can't get over those monsters without syncering. So you have
Or
to commit to a
summoning Caius,
synchro.
but yeah.
Or summoning Caius. Yeah, you have to synchro or
You have to
commit,
commit. Yeah.
or get a monster to live. Like, you have to commit your resources to break these. Like, for example, against Vayu, like 1400, 1700, you can commit a turtle or like zombie master to beat those, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact you have to commit these things into back row, into Kalutz, into a Blizzard Brinak Goyo the next turn just makes this matchup so hard. And that's not even getting to like the OP traps that cook us.
Yeah.
I think we lose this matchup even if Black Whirlwind is banned. And that's a wild statement.
Oh,
I actually think it's like
I don't know if I
50-50
agree
or
with that.
45-55.
Your deck
I
sounds
just-
like
I don't know if
ass.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I lose this deck even without Black Whirlwind all the time. And that's like power of like these cards
You
and like
can,
power one impression.
but I think Black Whirlwind is certainly a
I mean, that's
big
just like
chunk of the winning
basically,
percentage for them.
that I think it's at least 50-50 still. But I just think this game no games you more than any other deck. So
Yeah, I think it might be 50-50 because of like they still have the blowout traps, but I mean Whirlwind's definitely a big part. But yeah, I think the attack threshold matters. I don't think it's like that as big a issue, but I think the combination of like, I mean, it's Blackwing. They can always just sack you with Whirlwind Dad, so you have to count for that. Deck Dev Oppression can also blow you out. And then, yeah, like you said, even stuff like Icarus, like Chainable Interruption is like very good against zombie pushes. So
of course,
and then of course Shura is you know, it's annoying that you can
That's
just
what I was
get
gonna
free value. Yeah, if you, like, because you want to float into Goblin. Like if a Sirocco or Bora attacks into your turtle, you're feeling great. If it's Shura, you're like, I really hope they don't have the Icarus value they just got. 'Cause then you're in for a little bit of trouble.
Exactly. Like, that deck in Frogs like answers Turtle like better than any other deck because Shura and obviously like Monarchs. And then one other point I want to make is Blackwings have insane OTK potential too. Like they just abuse your slow setup, like your Recruiter one trap setup or your Monster Hand setups. Like the deck's a trap deck, but they play so many traps, but they can just drop their hand on you and put you on a 2-turn clock, you know. And this happens to me all the time because I'm on Sarks and things like this. So and like you're just like on a turtle or Reaper, what are you supposed to do? They drop Sirocco and double Bora or one Bora, you know. So yeah.
Damn, Ultimate Offering build seems kind of good here, huh?
It is nice. I do think my deck struggles the most.
Better,
with this.
huh?
Yeah. I do struggle with this match with the most of the 3 builds for sure.
Okay, Vayu Turbo, and I also have something to say about this one. But where are we putting this?
50-50.
I have a 55-45 actually.
I was gonna say, I'm tempted to put it 55-45. I think this is highly dependent on the skill level of the opponent you're facing. Against the average value player, I honestly think it's like that's like one of my better matchups. Like in tournament, I think I legit have like a 70-something% win rate against value in tournament.
Agreed.
Like
I'd be fine playing against 8 in a row.
Yeah, that's like my ideal tournament bracket, honestly.
So where are we putting 50-50
like,
or 55-45?
I really
I
think
vote
it's
40.
55.
I vote 55-45. Yeah.
I think it's the reason why zombies are competitive, in my opinion, is because it has this winning matchup against like one of the most popular decks. So why I think it's struggling a little bit right now.
I personally think the matchup is 50-50, and from my
you're also like one of the best value players on the planet.
On the planet.
Yeah. So it gets closer the better you are. You know, like if I'm playing against Joe Schmo, like I agree. It's like
I want to make this tier list based off like you are at the same level. We're not, or else I'm just putting everything 60-40 because obviously you guys are the goats for the reason.
Okay, well I'll be honest, Eric. If we play 100 times, I actually think like I would win 55 times.
That's fair.
So.
That's fair.
I think so too. Yeah, I think if I go against you, like you are a top value player, like I also think if I play 100 matches, I'm like, slightly winning.
And I would only put this matchup. I would only put this matchup at 50-50, and the only reason for that is because when I draw RO or deck dev, I feel like the game is so easy. And then when I don't, I feel like it's 40-60 in like, or like 60-40 in zombies' favor, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
I can elaborate why I think it's this way too. So first, I think of like the top 3 decks, zombies has like a really good early game against value compared to the other ones. Because outside of like Hamster, Ryko, Kai's shenanigans, sure, you have that, but like we have recruiters. There's no easy way for you all to clear our recruiters outside of Ryko and Hamster. And that gets us going. And also, again, the attack threshold thing, like we can easily beat over and get our things with our recruiters, like by just getting into hitting into like Armageddon Knight and also Refer. And then I also think like like our graveyard resources are slightly better than your graveyard resources. You have more, but ours is slightly better because you pump out like Armorlings, which is nice. But I'm able to pump out like level 8s and like level 6 synchros,
Yeah.
which I do think are slightly
No,
stronger, especially in the mid game.
Yeah.
The reason why like I think you have like the reason why it's like it's close though is like Necro is actually so OP in this matchup. Like it actually cooks. It makes the OTK not potential. You have an extra bomb. I only have like Dark Arm and Return. You have Dark Arm, Return, and Burial. So that's like more consistent finding your bombs. And yeah, you have your traps. Like the traps can just get.
I think it's the traps. I think zombies is actually just a better deck, but the traps like skew it.
I have no blowout traps.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can even side. There's nothing I can even side against value. Like that's that blowout.
Yeah, like DDV and RO are essentially bombs. So you already said I play one more bomb than you. I have +4 bombs now. So it's just like that's the only reason. If I don't draw those bombs, it's pretty effed in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And then Jake, you don't play Book of Life, but I do, and that's another plus. My favorite is you hit the leftover value pieces or even like force them to chain Gardno when they like don't want to and get it out of the way so you can like set up a big push the next turn.
Yeah.
I think that's another like thing that annoys them. Again, it all gets shut off if they find their Royal Oppression, but hopefully you side enough outs and find it, or they don't draw it, or they draw it late. That's always the best. You make your field, they top deck Oppression, you're like, sucks to suck.
I love how
simplify the matchup really quickly. If they go first and they set Hamster and they go Hamster, Ryko, Caius, you lose. And if you go first and you set Goblin or a Recruiter and they happen to either not attack and they set a Ryko, or they attack your Recruiter and you sack for Caius, you win. Pretty much how it goes.
Completely agree. I completely agree. It is
that
like
is good analysis.
Yeah.
Expert analysis.
There you go.
Yeah. But just the fact that like it lets us have a nice early game, this deck lets us have a nice early game is what makes it so doable and like slightly, I think.
Okay, and then this is the one I'm most excited to hear about because I really don't know how you guys feel about this. Frog Hero. Where are we putting this? Because I really don't know.
Is this all frog variants? Is this all frog variants?
Let's do Frog Hero because I don't.
Hero.
Let's do Frog Hero.
I personally would put this in 45-55. With again the skill of my opponent being a big thing. Like there's a huge difference up against 10-foot or like your average run-of-the-mill frog player. But assuming same skill, I'm going 45-55.
I'm probably more 40-60 just because of how many recruiters I play. If you don't have offering early, I just get destroyed with Caius constantly. And then when you try to OTK, they always seem to have Battle Fader and Gores, and you just can't do it.
Okay, I have another yak for this. I'll
be back.
I actually used to think for the longest time this was 50-50. It was even. I even was thinking like maybe I should like win, but ever since 2024, frogs have had the most insane developments to their deck. Like, and my deck has not changed like barely anything in a whole year. But think about like what's happened to frogs in this year. They've gotten Lad. They started playing like things like Future Fusion, like Mali, like the Dream Frog stuff. Ignore that. I know we're just doing Hero Frogs, but there's so many new variations. Like it's hard to like read what they're doing, and the decks just got refined so much. And because of that, I actually think it's like 40-60, maybe 45-65, 55. So I would actually, I feel comfortable with it being here, but I could definitely see it being 40-60. So
and this tier list doesn't have Dream Frog, but if we were to put Dream Frog, Fishborg Frog, whatever on here, where would we put that?
We're in a dream, all right.
I put it similar.
I think honestly use Diva Frog as it.
I think it depends, but honestly, I think it's slightly worse. I'd be more convinced to do 40-60 against Dream Frog because
the Monarch train is more relevant, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because we're recruiter decks. If they play extra Monarchs or Lads, that's just like if they summon Stratos, I don't give a shit. If they summon back-to-back Rises, the game's over, you know?
Right.
Or if they summon Lad, the game's over. So I actually think Dream Frog might be more 40-60.
Yeah, when I play that deck, I pretty much sleep. It's so boring to sit there and stare at that I have no real analysis to say. That's just what it is. I'm sleeping. That's right. It is a dream. I'm definitely in a dream.
So that's why it's called Dream Frog.
It's a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare.
I don't even think Dream Frogs is a harder matchup than Real Frogs. I think they're kind of even.
You think they're the same?
I've played a lot against a lot of Dream Frogs because a lot of people here, like in my team play it, so I've learned the matchup a lot. And it is tough. It is losing, but yeah.
My experience with Dream Frog was I played like 5 test matches against Dimitri on it, who's obviously like a cracked player. So that might be like why I'm like, oh, maybe this is a little worse when I'm actually just going up against like one of the best Frog players. But yeah.
Yeah, and the matchup that got a lot more bearable once you kind of learn it, but it is really tough.
Yeah, I mean, Frogs is just OP, like you said.
Yeah, the most important turn for Frogs as zombies is the first turn. It's actually getting in that first attack, like that 1200, anywhere from 1100 to 2300. Because when they just do swap turn 1, you could flip your total attack or summon another one attack. You have to abuse them this turn because the only way you beat this deck is going for an OTK and just not ignoring Gorse. So getting them down to the OTK threshold between 5,000 to 6,000 is like the most crucial thing. So as long as you're able to do that, you win. If you can't, it's really hard to beat this deck. Yeah. Anyways,
sounds about right.
Okay, moving on to Amaryllis, and I feel like this one is actually going to be a lot different for all three of you because I feel like your tech cards kind of changed the matchup really heavily. Okay, Beastmode thinks this is a snooze.
No, that's just a dream. I'm having fun.
Yeah, I start. I used to think this was losing, but I actually think we're even now.
I think it's about 50-50. Either they like Milgood and sack you, or you do zombie stuff and like Book of Life their stuff, and then you're chilling. I think it's like
I figured for your deck it'd be a lot easier. Amaryllis.
Sorry, I'm like in La La Land. I'm in Dreamland. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience against the deck, to be honest with you. I don't see a lot of it.
Doesn't your friend play it? That guy who cooked me at Nats?
That's my brother, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I do have some experience. I lied. If they hit Draw Titania, you lose, because you can't really play. And is that deck that good? I'm not sure. 50.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like 50-50.
I actually think zombies wins if you can side for it properly, but there's just not enough space in the side deck to side for it.
Fitz,
there's some cards you can play that destroys it.
Your instant fusion and like, because I feel like if they wall up you instant fusion, Reaper on the Nightmare or Tactorek, or like you have 3 Book of Life. I feel like that's really big, and you're playing 2 Dust. I don't know.
At the same time, I play a boatload of Monarchs and they play Titanial spam, so
right. Okay.
They can, like, it depends. Like it
50-50,
loses to it. It loses to itself sometimes. You beat them sometimes, and then they also like do their thing where you're staring at Titanial Dandy and you have instant Caius, and you're like,
right,
guess I lose.
Yeah, I think it's for sure Viv you play it right too. Like, because in the late game, because you either kind of sack each other, right? But when you get to like the late game, like the game really revolves around them getting off Mark of the Rose or DDR. Like you get through like their Titanials and you just establish your board, you know. So you just got to side in the dust or like keep your MST for that play, and it's actually a lot more manageable than you think. Or like save your trap for that play. Yeah. So I think it's 50-50, and I think you can side a lot more. We actually win, but
right, yeah, I just can't. Okay, Christia Sorn, and I'm not gonna lie, I remember this is actually, I know I said Blackwing was the main reason I quit playing zombies, but now I remember Chai cooked me so hard with freaking Aaron and Christia that I was like, I'm not playing this deck anymore.
So I'll start. I have a really great story. It will be 2 seconds. The first time that deck was actually like seen was at Rulers season 1, and I had the pleasure of playing it in top 8. And I won game 1. I'm feeling good. And game 2, he killed me in like second turn. I was like, "What was that?" And then game 3, he killed me in like second turn. And I said, "What is that deck?" Now we know what it is. Yeah, this is not a good matchup.
You put it 45-55 beast mode or 40-60?
Probably 45-55. Like, generally my thought, and I'm just gonna cut ahead, that zombies do not really have a favorable matchup at all, as far as I know. Like, I'm just talking quickly, not really thinking. But I think that they are not like so terrible into everything, like in the field. Like I think they can hang with everything. So that's just gonna be my 2 cents now. But yeah, name a matchup that zombies are like favorable against, other than
slightly.
I
actually think we cooked this matchup. I actually have Life Swarms at 60-40, and I have this at 55-45 or 60-40 also.
Well, you can't play.
Sure. They drop creatures you can't play, but
loses to itself.
But zombies are also zombies are really good at not letting them get to Christia. Like your whole
agreed.
At least my version, like I can
triple Book of Life.
Yeah, triple Book of Life, and like pump out Monarchs to yeet all their hamsters and Raikos, and even Hades goes insane in this matchup. So they don't play a lot of traps. So you could like their flip monsters are just oftentimes useless. Yeah, if they like open charge recharge and get to 4 fairies, then yeah, I lose the game. But like
Every deck
I feel
loses
like
that game.
Yeah, that's fine.
I feel like the combination of them like playing a decent chunk of flip monsters, or just like their like Lila is like someone Lila pass is like some decks like are like I can't get over this because of Honest. We just like slam in a turtle and then attack with the Mizuki. We either crash for +1 or we bait out the Honest, which is like another good trade for us.
Yep.
And yeah, like their boards and like flip monsters with no protection. I feel like we mess them up early to mid game more often than they do. You can always get sacked. This deck's definitely scary, but I agree that pure Lightsworn is like great, really good matchup because I think we mess up their early game and Book of Life, their stuff. Christia Sworn is scarier because we care more about Christia coming down than JD a lot of the time, honestly.
Well, this deck would be the best deck of the format. It's literally Christia is like one of the best cards, right? It has a good matchup into frogs, has a good matchup in everything special summons. But the problem is the deck vomits on itself all the time. It can't play.
Yeah, it loses to itself or just like sets a hamster pass, and if you just like Caius that and they're stuck with like, you know, Jane, Lila, another Raiko in hand, like they're toast.
Yeah. Just to add on the Fitz, I completely agree. I think we cook both of these Sworn decks. I think Lightsworns is 60-40, and I think Chris Sworns could be 60-40, but maybe 55-45 just because, like, I guess they have Christia, but Recruiters are super good into them, just normal summon them so you don't get errand. They play no traps, so it's super easy to go for OTKs. Like, I literally just kill them so fast. And they're not that great into Recruiters. Like I said, like, they have to attack them to get damage in.
And just summon your turtles and goblin zombies so you don't get errand if you know you're up against this and you're chilling.
No, definitely.
Plus, Stardust and any trap absolutely cooks this deck.
All right, sounds like I'm ass. That's all I heard.
I mean,
I mean,
he's playing hero version. He kills things in 2 turns. Like,
so it's like hero version different.
Gotcha.
Also, we've all, I'm sure, had bad stretches against Lightsworn where they're just doing the charge reach. Like, I've definitely lost like 3 matchups, 3 matches in a row to Lightsworns before. Where it's just like they're doing the damn But I think over a large sample, zombies are favored.
Yeah, they mill play at end phase, and I win so many games this way.
That's true. That's true.
I win so many games this way, so that's another like low pro. Or like, I know that doesn't seem like much, but like that happens. I straight up just win the game sometimes, just because.
My goal is to deck them out. I love it.
So we all play the matchup.
I got a tally on my wall back there. You're gonna see the marks. How many times I deck them out?
All right, we have 6 more matchups, and we're taking a lot of time on that, so I'm gonna ask for these. Gladiator Beast. I think this is ass, but you guys.
I think it's 50-50. I think this is 50-50.
50-50.
Dude, it's a hard.
You make Stardust, that's why. Okay, I see. Yeah. Fitz.
I think it's gotten a lot better.
I think it's 40-60.
40-60.
Okay, I think it's 50-50.
Dude, I feel like all these matchups are just like Fitz and Beastmode playing traditional zombies, and then Jake's like, yeah, I just killed this deck, so this deck's ass. It's like,
I mean, I can get GB'd on. Like, I can get GB'd on, but like Stratos gets me there, turn 1 Stratos gets me there all the time. Also, like, I have better matchup where I just hold my cards and like let them tag out and do damage to me until I find like a big push with Brain Control or Minecon, and then like
40-60.
Yeah, I think it's 50-50. I low-key think it could be slightly.
I know traditionally this matchup's supposed to be ass, so I'm gonna leave it here.
Yeah, that's fine. I said my piece, so I'm fine with it.
Yep. Diva Hero B, I was under the impression this is the best
matchup. Is free category?
60-40.
Yeah, it's free.
This is my
best matchup by far, right?
Okay, so we do have a good matchup.
Is there like an 80? Is there like an 80-20 category?
I'm about to add it.
Dude, there's only 2 ways. There's only 2 ways to lose
this deck. This deck is so free for zombie.
Yeah, it's so free. It's so free.
That deck is complete ass. It's ass. I know people play it. It's not good. It's
I think
not.
it's still good. I think it's pretty good still.
It's average. It's average.
Yeah.
It's good into Blackwing supposedly, but even that people are like saying that's not true. I don't think it's a very good deck. I've said that for a long time. I'm not hating on anybody who plays it. I'm just saying I don't like the deck. I don't think it's that good.
I remember late in my run in Maryland, I think it was like round 7, I load up against I was like, I saw my opponent summon Stratos and search Alias, and I was like fist pumping in my head. I was like, I 2-0'd him in like 10 minutes. It was the easiest match of the day. Oh,
This is so free.
Yeah, they have
I
to
love this.
attack, and you love that.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dragon Turbo. I assume for
Okay.
Jake it's also free, but for the not Unga
No,
Bunga.
I think this is hard. I think this is hard. This is one of the worst matchups, I think. Basically, you need to find an answer in the top 7 cards, which is hard to do. And our cards require setting, like literally setting and like setting up to actually do stuff. And you just setting it gives them an extra turn, you know? So our deck's just not proactive enough, you know? Like Value's so proactive turn 1. Like you can do Greffer stuff like turn 1, you know? Like yes, I have some proactive broken hands, and those are the games I win. But otherwise, like it's really hard to win because you have to. That's why like Ultimate Offering is good. You know, like you need 2 or 3 turns to set up your cards. So
when I play
and-
that deck,
yeah.
I just pray that they brick. That's
agreed.
it. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I move on with my day. When I lose, I pick up my deck, I put it in my bag, I go home.
Same.
Or I go
Basically,
upstairs.
there's no answer. There's no answer to Debris, into Instant Fusion, into Bruinac, into Red MD,
It's the
into
trag,
Drago.
that's the biggest problem.
Yeah,
You
trag
can't-
too.
Because every time you try to OTK, they search the whole deck, they have it every time. Can't do
Yeah,
it.
you just gotta pray they don't have it somehow.
Fitz,
Which
you
you
feel
never
the same
use.
way? You feel it's pretty unfavorable?
I think 45-55 is reasonable. I think I only played it in tournament with Diva Zombie like once or twice.
Well,
I think I beat it.
You
but,
have
like,
Urbellum, so I don't know if that changes
I was gonna
anything.
say the most recent time I faced it, I did win, and I did like Urbellum and Reaper him, which felt pretty good. But I haven't played it enough to really say for sure.
Okay. So you guys
I'd
are
rather
both
play
45-55?
Yeah, I rather play
Yeah,
Jeebies, though.
I think
but yeah.
It's reasonable.
This
it's
could be
just-
40-60 for
It's
me.
scary, but I don't know.
Rather play
where I'd put it, honestly.
GBs?
No, we can keep
That-
it 45-55 because I put
That I
Jeebies
just
50-50, so-
disagree with.
Yeah,
but
45-55 is fine.
Okay.
We can choose them.
All right, last 3. Quick draw. I think this is...
55,
actually-
45.
Yeah.
Is that-
That deck's actually sneaky annoying, but it's also
Yeah.
like not the
It's
worst.
only
not.
good because of Hamster Reich, right?
Yeah.
Hamster
Agreed.
Reich
Yeah.
bias. If they get that, then you lose. But if otherwise, if you get to play, you just OTK them.
Same reason why Machinas is can be hard. Same reason.
Same reason? Like, Ace
Yeah.
Fortress isn't
Both
best
decks
scary
can
for
be
you
a little
guys.
annoying, but
It's
it's
just-
Hamster Reich or Kaius. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's it.
Beast Mode said exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
um,
Machina Control is slightly favored for zombies.
Diva Hero
55-45.
is hit or miss. It depends
I-
if they.
I know,
if they-
Beastmode,
used to
Beastmode, you played both decks, so you...
Yeah.
Yeah, so Diva Hero, I tried playing Diva Hero very slow, and not very slow, but slower than like trying to OTK out of nowhere. Like we didn't play Sarks back then, but that was old build. It was one of the dudes from
Oscar, right?
California. Oscar, yeah,
Yep.
he's a great player. I played his build, and I was fortunate enough to lose to Fitz last round and went 7-1. But yeah, the deck is very explosive, so you either just lose sometimes, or it's like playing against Diva Heroes on it. Like sometimes you just have it and you lose, but it's probably like 50-50.
It's 50
Yeah.
for me.
I think so too. I used to think this matchup was like very zombie favored, but then I lost to it twice at Maryland out
Oh.
of nowhere.
Interesting.
There's one more deck I
but-
think that we
Yeah, I don't
actually
know.
lose to
50-50 is
so bad.
fine.
We don't have to get into it, but I think we lose to Fairies pretty bad. As like it's like the
Really?
Christia but with traps.
Like
I think
pure
so.
or chaos?
Hold on.
pure-
I have to
pure
debunk
chaos.
stuff
Jake,
for
you need to play more D prisons, man.
Hold
yeah,
on.
I don't play
So
deep
we
prisons,
lose-
so-
So
Just don't let them
according to
crash
Jake-
their shit and drop Christia.
Hold on. I gotta raise the whole can here. Hold on. Jake says that we beat Christia Sworn.
we destroy it. in
We
my opinion.
destroy Christia Sworn, but we don't beat fairies because of
Well,
Christia.
Well, and they also play traps, and they play DD Warrior Lady with recruiters. So that makes the difference. Like the fact
Bro,
that
play
Christia doesn't
D
play
prism.
traps.
But
the
so
fact that
what is the
Christia doesn't
key
like
card
traps.
that we lose to?
Yeah,
Christia,
but like
right?
I know, but like they can actually get out Christia between like Dialk's so annoying. The recruiters like they can
No,
actually
it's
get
a
it out
different
so
deck. It is
easily.
a different deck.
So that's why we lose. But like Christia's, yeah, that's the difference. Like between the recruiters and like just Dialk and just like
Yeah,
even the traps
well-
like makes it way harder than like Christian Storm where I can just destroy them.
Jake doesn't have as many traps like you, Beast Mode, and then Christian Sworn also
No,
plays
I get it. I get it.
Christian Sworn also plays
That's the
Decree,
difference.
so I guess that screws you over even harder.
But this looks good to me, honestly. This would be my tier list outside of the GBs. So
Right?
actually,
yeah.
I might personally put Turbo at 40-60 and GBs at 50-50. But other than that, this is my exact tier list. So
Beast Mode, do you have a stream deck? How are you doing this so fast?
well, I think it is. There's so many variations in our decks. You know, they're so different in how
Yeah,
they play.
Sure.
yeah.
So
All right, yeah, this is
Yeah.
like definitely like an average for sure, but yeah, Diva Hero beats definitely. Yeah,
This is very different from the frog one, bro. I'll say that.
yeah, this like when I look at this, I'm like, am I really gonna play this deck? No. But I mean, I do feel like Zombies has so much outplay potential that those matchups kind of get skewed a little.
Yeah.
Okay, this slide is more like maybe I should call it like the museum slide or something. But and I think Beast Mode will know a lot about this. But basically, like I actually played Zombies back in Edison format, and actually before when Mizuki was at 2. So I was like, I've been researching a lot about Zombies. But basically, I feel like everyone was on regular Diva Zombies or Tele Zombies, right? Like that's base Zombies. Like that's when Edison started. I feel like that was the only like really variant of Zombies. And then Siltus brought in Diva Hero Zombies, and then Beast Mode and James Arc brought in Ultimate Offering Zombies, and then Instant Teleport Zombies came out, and then that was the big fad for a while. And then Jake, you've had the biggest spree with your new Diva Hero Zombies with Miracle Fusion, because I actually stalked you a little. I know your first top that I saw in Format Library didn't have Miracle Fusion, and then you put one in, and then you put 2 in.
Yeah, my first ever top was Soldier's Ruins, like card for card. I remember like I messaged him after, like, dude, it's like my first top ever. I was like, bro, I just top with your deck. And he's like, congrats, bro. And I like screenshotted, sent to all my friends. But yeah, and then like I said, like there was a drought happened, so then I had to like reinnovate the deck. And then yeah, I slowly evolved it to have 2 Miracle Fusions. So yeah, and I can talk about that a little if you want. But
well, what I'm trying to point out is that the evolution of Zombies has basically it keeps sacrificing consistency for more and more explosiveness, right? Like before it was definitely just all engine and like the normal traps and just Diva Goblin. That was pretty much it. And then we've realized we had to establish more and more and more explosiveness to keep up with the meta. So so these next 4 points are kind of like, where did these cards go, or how do we end up here? So my first question to you guys is, well, Jake, I know you play 3, but 4 recruiters has been standard for as long as I can remember. And honestly, I don't know where that came from. So I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts on why 4. And normally it's 2 tomato, 2 turtle. Just curious to hear your guys' thoughts.
I can tell you that it's going to be more than 4 soon.
Huh?
Ooh.
Maybe,
honestly,
maybe as soon as next week. We'll see.
I've honestly tried out a 5th before as well, and then I actually opted to that build. I opted to cut the 5th recruiter for a card trooper as like another starter that just does something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think you need enough starters, and recruiters, they're kind of slow and it's annoying to sit on them sometimes. But like that's the best we have for finding our key engine piece, because Goblin just unlocks everything with the deck, and we need to get to it. So I don't know. Like I think if you have enough supplementary engine like the hero stuff, Jake can get away with 3 turtle and call it a day. I think I don't know. I've tried every 3, 4, and 5, and I've also just gravitated back towards 4 being a good number. I don't know.
Okay.
It works.
Yeah, you basically just need to see one of the 5, like 3 turtles or 2 goblin in your opening 6, or Rhoda / Stratos. Like, if not, like there's not really many other ways to like kind of play the game. So, I would play another turtle if I could play 4 and if there's space in my list. But that's just how it is, I just maxed out on them.
Jake, you don't play.
They just kind of activate the whole deck.
You don't play tomato, right?
Yeah, I don't play tomato because
Love tomato. Love it.
There's no space for it. Honestly, like since I'm playing all the hero stuff, and I don't know. I don't like that you can't grab tomato with Zombie Master, because one of the strongest plays in the deck is like against value. Like if they have Arma or Greffer, you crash turtle, you grab Zombie Master, then you kill it, and then you pitch to grab the turtle. Then you have a really strong like turn 2 board. You can't really do that with tomato. Plus, I don't like how it goes to attack mode. Yeah.
Beastmode, why do you like tomato so much? Because you don't even play malicious.
Yeah, we don't play malicious. We're not going to talk about that. Tomato, I like tomato because of Bayou. Armageddon is a big problem, and people don't realize how important it is to be able to crash with that. Also, Dyna can be a problem at times. Sure, you have the turtle where you can crash, which is ideal, but tomato runs over that. I just think the 1400 stat line is very important. Turn 1, specifically when someone just
Yeah.
summons an Armageddon Knight, they just
Yeah.
pay the price for that.
I like it how it has 1100 defense too. If they go summon armor attack, that
Yeah.
actually matters
Well,
too.
and that's also very
Mhm.
important too, and I'm going to talk about that quickly because the problem is when you set recruiters, if you have Turtle and Tomato in your hand opening turn, most of the time you're setting Turtle because you want to get that card online and get Book of Life online, but nothing can run over the card. It has 1400 defense, so the problem is you set it there, they crash into it or attack it, it doesn't die, and then you're like, well, I'm never attacking that again. But if you set Tomato 1100, they can usually kill it. Most things run over it,
Yeah.
and then you can get the Goblin that way. So it definitely comes up a lot, and I do like.
Yeah, you're so right.
Yeah,
Bro. You're so right.
I switched to 2 and 2 for a bit, strictly because of like the stat thing and value and Tomato having less defense. But then I switched back to 3 Turtle just because I really wanted to play 3 Book of Life, and I was sick of having my Turtle like Raikou popped or like Soul Exchange substituted, and then like it being a zombie for the Book of Life and getting removed, I felt like was more important. But I do like the
Agreed.
stat line of Tomato
Yeah.
a lot more.
That Tomato stat line fucks me up like crazy because my Armor Knight is always swinging, and my Trooper Mill 2 is always swinging. And it's just like, yeah, that if it's
Dude,
Tomato, I'm screwed.
Imagine the world if Pyramid Turtles had less defense, would die more often to get searched off Goblin Zombie. Oh,
Yeah, 1400 defense is just not ideal in the
Yeah.
current game. Nothing really gets over it. Everything even in the mirror match, like you said it, nothing's running over it.
Yep.
I love Turtle, bro. Just, even the art, bro. He's just vibing.
Yeah, he's a G.
Low
For
key,
sure.
my favorite zombie.
We're talking about Tomato right now.
Okay, yeah. Just think about Turtle.
Nah.
Okay, next, Book of Life. So in this evolution of zombies thing that I have at the top, this card has been at 0, 1, and 2, and now in Fitz's list at 3. Beast Mode, do you right now in your build? Honestly, I consider Beast Mode and Fitz's build more traditional, and Jake, your build is more like Diva Hero-esque. But Jake, I know you're not playing Book of Life because you're playing Miracle Fusions. I believe that's the main reason. And then Beast Mode, are you playing any Book of Life right now?
So the list that we displayed there when I had top twice with it this season, I did have 2. I cut Allure because I was like, for Nationals, which is my current build that I haven't touched since Nationals, been over a month. I have 1. Just 1.
So why aren't we playing 2 anymore?
We're not playing 2 anymore because of the fact that it can be slow early. It makes sense why Fitz is running 3. Because you can literally instant fusion out and put a zombie in the graveyard instantly, where we have to set it up. Now, it would help in certain matchups like Frogs, so you can banish things and value. But the problem is like, A, it's another card that loses to Royal Oppression, which I don't like because that's what the deck loses to. And B, it's slow. And like we're trying, as you mentioned, the whole idea of the deck was to get it to speed up because it was very clear a couple years ago that we were just going to lose to Frogs constantly because the deck was so slow, and it's still slow. But again, we've made some changes along the way, and there are a few cards offering can speed it up a little bit. Instant Fusion speeds it up. So Book of Life works well with Instant Fusion, but I don't think it's a good card at more than 1 or 2 in my build, and I don't think Jake plays it at all.
Yeah. So I used to play 1. Most of my tops are with 1, and I think Book of Life actually slaps. It's like the card is just so sick. But back in April, I decided to cut it for a second Miracle Fusion. So I cut my Call the Haunted and Book of Life, which are both like are crazy combo extenders, and they're so good. But the reason why I cut them is because they're both bricks early game, and Miracle Fusion is also a brick early game. But I much rather have Miracle Fusion mid game and late game than a Book of Life or Call the Haunted, because Absolute Zero is better than like anything I could Book of Life or Call the Haunted. And then I could also like add in like another trap for consistency. So that's where like that Flex, Dust Tornado, Deep Prison, Raigeki break spot came from. So that's what I've been running since April. But Socha's topped like something with like my old list, which was like the Book of Life and Call. So, and like, yeah, so it's still good. It's just, I can only play 40 cards.
Even Silch is
Something
playing
has to go.
Double Miracle now, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's playing Double Miracle now.
Oh yeah. He could be, but like you could still go back to 1 Miracle. Like 2 Miracle is really greedy, I'll be honest. But with how fast everything is, and like you kind of just need the cheese, and like this logic I was saying, like if they're all going to be bricks in my opening 6, like which one is going to be better like in mid game? And that's kind of my logic.
Fitz, do you ever side out Book of Life like a copy or 2?
Yes. Yeah. I usually don't side out more than 1. Against the Oppression decks, I usually set up both instants and 1 Book of Life, but because the banishing is so strong against value in Blackwing, I try to leave in 2.
Mhm.
because I'm bringing in a shitload of outs to it, right? I'm on triple dust tornado, breaker, trap stun,
Yep.
MST heavy, all that. Like I'm like I'm holding these. I'm not just like blind firing it into back row without ideally like summoning a breaker first or setting my out to oppression, that sort of thing. Because I do think like the banish effect, like banishing their blizzard target, banishing their value piece, like that's just like such a big trade for you in the matchup, especially if you're like if the dream, right, is you Book of Life goblin, disrupt their grave, keep their blizzard dad whatever dead, and then
Yep.
sack for Caius, and then banish the other one, and now they have like no setup and you're chilling. Like that's like the best way to
Yeah.
not get your freaking Caius Goyoed every time, is like have the Book of Life first. So like I think it's like pretty valuable in
Mhm.
those matchups to have it. But I do side down, yeah. And honestly, like, so I opted to play 3. I'm still on 3. It's even with stuff like Instant Fusion and or Card Trooper, which can like those are extra ways that you can immediately get it live potentially. 3 is still a lot of Book of Life. Like I feel like I'd honestly play like 2.5 if I could, but I opted for 3 because, like Jake says, like we're not playing a tier 1 deck here. We need kind of ceiling to cheese wins, and like getting the early Book of Life off is just like one of your better win cons, especially against stuff like frogs, which are like super impactful or like super popular. They go summon swap pass and you go instant like synchro play, Book of Life, Banisher, Treeborn. You made a field, and now they need to like either special their swap or like do something weird to like Monarchy the following turn. Like that's
Right.
one way you can just like actually out tempo them, which is hard to do. So yeah, I think Book of Life is just kind of like one of the strongest in engine zombie cards. Like Monster Reborn with DDO attach is pretty good. And yeah, I opted to kind of lean into that for my take on the deck. Instant Fusion for sure makes a big difference with both it being an extra copies of zombies as well as one you proactively put into the graveyard and not needing your opponent to kill a turtle or goblin to get it live. Like that's a huge difference.
And it's a broken zombie. Reapers.
You
Yeah, it's a
know
good
they
one, too.
hate. You know they hate seeing Book of Life get activated mid combo. You know your
Oh,
opponent's
yeah.
moaning.
Yep. 'Cause you make a board and disrupt their grave to like turn off the amount of things you lose to, like whether it's turning off Blizzard, Dark Armed, or whatever else,
Okay, e-teleport and Krebon. So I think you guys kind of already mentioned this in terms of like, you need a cheese. But like teleport and Devo, that was the biggest debate for zombies back in the day. And then I know when instant zombies first came out, it was actually teleport instant zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to this engine? Like, why is no one playing Krebons anymore?
Mid. Next question, bro.
It's not a so here's the deal, right? I like the idea behind it. I've tested it for a very short period of time because you don't use your normal summon, right, when you play in the instant
Yes.
build. So like if your play gets disrupted with like a Royal Oppression or something, whatever, you can still like not have an open board, so that it gives you that. But also it just is not as explosive as Diva. That's just point blank period. Like you cannot OTK with just one teleport. You make one synchro and that's it. And sure, you get the added protection of being able to normal summon or set afterward, but like I would rather just have a more explosive deck.
Diva's too nuts,
Yeah.
man. That's all it is.
Diva is too nuts. Diva Goblin Book of Life is an OTK. Diva Goblin Mally is an OTK. Like you're not like sure E-Tele you don't normal summon, but yeah.
It makes the OTK happen.
Diva is like your power play, and also like they play E-Tele with like 2 targets. You're actually dead drawing it a chunk of the time too,
I still
which
see
is not
people
nothing
posting in,
either.
like the zombie section, and they always post like the instant build, and it still has Krebons, and I just don't get it. I just like
so
scroll
good.
by it. Like, why you're playing an inferior deck doing that? I just
Yeah, I don't.
it's
I
pretty
feel
clear.
like the instant and the E-Tele, like the fact that like the guy won that tournament with them together, like everyone just kind of assumed you had to play them together. I feel like
It's so
I was
mid.
like, I like this instant fusion idea. The replacing Diva and or some number of Caius with the psychic stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I like my Divas and Caiuses.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Plus, you have
Or
to play 3 cards
Ryza.
rather than just 2. It's just 2 Divas. You have to play 3,
That's a good
which
point.
makes it way worse.
Yeah, I guess like the other pros, like they're better on their own. Like you can summon Commander and beat over a Stratos, which I guess is something. But like I don't know.
Commander gives
I'd
you,
rather
like-
draw Diva and be like, I'm gonna win the game later with this. I just need to set up first.
Yeah.
Whatever, bro. You're playing Commander. You have to play Commander. The card makes you play Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Name me a more mid card. Name me a more mid card. You can't.
Yeah, not many. Flamvell Magician.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You got me. You got me.
Okay, last one. I'll have Beastmode start on this ill blood. I think this card is underrated AF, but I know
Yeah,
Beast Mode's
so
play with it a lot.
this card's busted. Okay, so I used this card back like 3 years ago in the original build, and like I was hit. It was hit or miss. I'd played Necro Garden with it too. Like I wasn't really using it to its full potential. I'd more or less like lure it away, and then maybe hit it with a return or put it in the graveyard in like Book of Life. And Ark was playing with it in his initial build with Offering, and then like people kind of just stopped playing Offering. No one ever did it. And initially I was like, Caius is just like 100 times better. And then for Nationals, JG was really testing a lot for me, and he was like on Illblood. He has an Illblood. He has like Secret Rare. It's so expensive. He always wants to play with it. I feel it's a cool card. And he was like, this card's like really busted. You have to play it. So I started play testing with it, and I used that Nationals. Like Illblood in Offering is unbelievably broken. Like you don't want to ever pitch that card. Like when I see it now, I want it. I want to play the card all the time, and I don't think I would probably play Offering without it. Yeah, it's busted.
It's
In the other builds, it's useless probably, but in Offering, it's really busted.
Fitz, is there room for it in Instant? But I guess the only application is getting with Pyramid Turtle.
Yeah, I do play the 3 turtle, which is something, but yeah, I think it's way better with Offering for sure. It's if I get tilted drawing Mally, which like imagine how I feel drawing
Yeah, see, I
Illblood
don't
and
get
being like
tilted
this.
at all seeing it. Like it's exciting because like you can also
Yeah.
you want to brio your own Illblood back to your hand when you have Offering on the board, because you get to like reuse the effect again. It's so
Yeah,
foolish.
and-
It's
Oh.
foolish. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
and
dumb.
yeah,
That is
Nah,
so
it's-
sick, actually.
Yeah, it's dumb. It gets really dumb really quick. It doesn't take much at all.
yeah. Play it in Offering. I don't think you play it in the other versions.
Yeah, Jake, I bet you probably even haven't considered this card.
No,
Um,
I wouldn't.
I think it's broken, like
Oh.
in Offering, in like
Oh,
in
okay.
Beast Mode's version. But can you imagine me drawing a melee and then also
Yeah, no, you're asking for trouble.
it's like Televisual's like DV Hero build. He's playing like Descendant, Gilman, and
Oh, yeah, how did that end up? Oh my god, I don't know.
like it's like the 4 horsemen. But yeah, I think the card's broken. I just can't. There's no use in my deck. It's just if you design a deck around it, like Beast Modes, I think it's cracked. So.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, and moving on. Okay, so I didn't mean to make this slide, but when I was looking at your guys' list, I was just like, what kind of crack are these guys on? You guys, so this is also kind of cool because, like, you know, there's a bunch of weird cards that I'm seeing in your guys' list, but also this just proves to me that zombies isn't solved at all. You guys are so freaking consistent on zombies, but I don't want to say like your guys' choices are wrong, but I would dare say if more people play this deck, these cards I've highlighted probably wouldn't make the cut in a lot of the lists. So I'm gonna start with Beast Modes because
Again?
yeah,
'Cause
dude,
I'm
you're crazy, man. You don't know what's happening with you. So
All right, I'll do this quick.
yeah, go for it.
We gotta go quick. All right. So the initial build, which was the exact same list as you see there with Trag. Trag is not that great in this build because of this fact that you set too many traps. So I cut Trag and put Crow in because Crow catches people off guard. And it's like a one-of that you can search for saying it. It's fine. That card can literally be anything. It could be DD Assailant, which I've tested for some time. I really like that card. So that's Crow. The double Road was fun because of the fact that I played double Scarecrow. So I know the deck has a tough time with Blackwing, and there's a lot of people that just slam their cards. You know, early rounds in the tournament, you literally get free wins because people are like, oh, you set 2 back row, I'm going to Heavy Storm, and like, boop, boop, and you Starlight Road and you just win the game. And D Prison is, and I'm not going to lie to you, I played in Texas, I played triple D Prison. D Prison is a better card more often than Scarecrow. But if you're playing double road, I feel that Scarecrow is more important because you want to have that there. Now, Scarecrow also becomes very annoying, and the second somebody makes a Brio, I swear they just bounce the Scarecrow because they're so annoyed with it. If you stop like more than one attack with it, I feel like you get value. And I've done some stupid, foolish things with Scarecrow because like there are certain times where people will crash recruiters when they know that they can clear the Goblin Zombie. But if you have the scrap iron there, you can protect the Goblin, so then you can next turn set up the Offering OTK. So there's some times, or like turn 1 where your opponent summons Stratos or Armageddon Knight, and like you never want to waste a D Prison on that, but you just flip Scarecrow. You're like, I don't care, and then you protect your Goblin, and the next turn you're able to go off. So there is some application. I know people are like, oh, that card just is not good, but like I said, the player that is in Italy just had one in the main deck. I think 1 is probably the right number. I like the card. I say try it. And then sideboard, Twister was in the side deck there. There was actually a player in Texas who played Offering build. I think he main decked the DD Crow as well. Similar monster lineup. I actually spoke with him Twister was really important because the problem is people are on Decree like Jake. And the second they flip into Royal Decree, I pick up my deck and go home because I can't play. So you need to have something else in the extra deck, side deck rather. And Twister was there. It really only comes in certain matchups. It's in and out of the side deck. I'm not like gonna argue with anybody if they don't want to play it. It's fine. And then I think that's the only card you have, or you have all of them circled. Oh, one Bottomless. So Bottomless is a card that I know there's a few other players that are like thinking similar to me that feel that Bottomless is not that great after turn 1 or 2, and it isn't. Just think about it. But it's a necessary evil. I feel like you have to play 2 because if you just play against Blackwing, you need to have an answer. But in a perfect world, I feel like 1 is probably just the right number because like after turn 1 or 2, maybe into a synchro it's okay, but like Black Wings you need to have the double. So I would side deck in the second one if I was going first. Also going second, the card's not that great because they've already summoned a monster a lot of the time, like Sure or Whirlwind. Like what do you do with the Bottomless at that point? So that's kind of my thought on it. I go between 1 and 2 all the time, but I feel like some players are kind of thinking like maybe this card's not that good at 2 all the time. I'm still saying it all the time. Everyone's still got 2 in the deck, but that's just my my thought.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's go in order then. Jake, you guys have 2, I guess, I circled.
I think Scarecrow Heat also Beast Mode cooks me with it when I played him. It is good,
Yeah.
and I've had a Twister phase also. You know, like I've dabbled with True Nade and all this, but I arrived back to Dust. But
The Armageddon
anyways,
Stratos thing is a good point. Like there are a lot of things you just want to like stop the attack
Yeah.
without like
yeah,
wasting a
no,
1-for-1
dude,
trade with
Scarecrow
it.
is good. Yeah, Scarecrow is
Yeah.
good. Especially in zombies. Okay, so the Starks, yeah. So yeah, these bad boys, yeah, they easily can come out. Like first of all, like some people think like I'm big brain like by using Stark, like I have all these options, but like 90% of the time I'm grabbing Foolish. I'm sorry, Future Fusion. Unless it's like Black Wings, then I'm just gonna grab Heavy. And then if it's mid and late game, like I grab Miracle or Return. And that's kind of why I like it, is because like they have good options like early game, mid game, and late game. But these can easily come out. Like Zabo took them out and like found success. Like I side them out all the time. I've played many games, like I said, like without them in it, and like I tested it.
So then the card probably shouldn't be in the deck, right? That's my 2 cents.
No, yeah. So and that's
Right?
that's a fair take, and
That's a fair point.
No, that's a fair point. Like I do still like leaving 1, but the reason why I do play it is because like I'm honestly I'm going for like cheese and sack game 1. Like that's literally how I'm playing the game, and like I know like I'm building my deck to have the absolute best game 1 against like the field, and Gold Sark like will give me the best game 1 against, in my opinion, against like Black Wings and also like against Frogs and against a lot of the tier 2 decks, because I can grab Fufu and just like cheese out like a quick win, and just like set everything up really quickly. Also has some pretty good synergy with Turtle also, because like Turtle I can just kind of sit on it and whatever, and like the 2 turns pass quickly, and I do lose games because of Gold Sark, but I win a lot more games I feel than I lose thanks to Gold Sark, especially like when I open it. So like yeah, those are my thoughts. I think that yeah, you can easily not play it, and like the what other people cut for him is like Necrogarna and like Foolish, and that's like the perfect cuts, because like yeah, I'm grabbing Future Fusion anyways with it. Like so the Foolish is just, I mean, Future Fusion glorified Foolish, so it's like the same thing. And then I've been trying to fit a Necrogarna in my deck for the longest time. Like I've been like going back and forth with things I can cut, but there's just like no space besides cutting out one of the Starks.
Just play 41.
I'm good.
Doesn't really change the
Okay,
odds
what
much
about
at all.
what about Consecrate? Because I know like even my friend Lucas was asking about these, and then like he asked me about it, and I'm like, this card doesn't
Yeah,
make
so
any sense
I
in this
actually
deck.
talked
Like
to him.
I don't understand this
Okay.
card.
So if I win game 1 against Black Wings, this card will get me a game 2 or 3 win like 90% of the time.
Because
So-
you're not gonna get decked at one of the 2 games, right? So that's what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah. So it'll get me one of them. Consecrated and Decree is instant win against Black Wings.
Yep.
There's like no way for them to break it outside of brain control. So I've actually been playing 3 Consecrateds now, and I also play more as. Basically, I've narrowed my side deck a lot. I narrowed it a lot to focus on the big 3 decks, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just not going to run into Amaryllis anymore. I'm not, you know what I mean, like things like this, because like chances are, especially like in New York coming up and things like this, like I'm going to be playing against like more of the big 3 than not. But Consecrated's so good, it synergizes really well with Stratos and also Turtle. It's great with Caius. It's broken with Royal Decree. It's like instant win. I only sided in against Black Wings and nothing else. There's 3 cards in my side deck just for Black Wings. We all agree it's the worst matchup. I started with 1. I went to 2. I saw Silchos was playing 3, and he was comfortable playing 3, so I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm putting in 3, and I just want to see 1. If I open it, I will play it. Like, I've gotten really good at playing, like, round Icarus with the 2. Like, yeah, this is not going to stay forever. Like, I remember, like, when, like, Chill Phil, like, won our bet, he beat me in, like, round 6. And his video, he was talking about how, like, he saw I was just playing once consecrated. So, like, he didn't even ignore if, like, he got consecrated. I don't know how long this will last. If, like, once my, like, if I ever top again and I have 3, people will start, like, putting in Dynas and stuff. But because no one puts in Dynas and Cyber Dragons against me, I'm getting a shit ton of free cheesy wins this whole summer with 3 consecrateds, like, against some people. So that's logic.
Yeah,
I just love no gaming Black Wings.
It also makes sense because if you're already at a 40-60 with Blackwing and you're essentially like almost coin flipping with consecrated deck dev or no deck dev, I mean, it essentially makes your matchup 50-50. So I guess that does make sense.
I know I win a lot of games just with it. So that's the logic. It might not always stay, but yeah, that's it for now, I guess.
Yeah, and then Fitz, you already explained this one, but Ryza is not a real card. But yeah, so it's just a fourth Caius. Yeah. You just like the payoff.
I'll give you a 10-second explanation. I really wanted to play 3rd Book of Life. I tried out like 3 Book of Life, 3 instant, and then added the Rise as like an extra conversion to them, just to like try it out. 3 instant was too much, so cut that down to 2. Left the 3 Book of Life, and then the Rise outperformed. So I was like, I'm leaving this in. Like Caius is always a card I'm begging to draw. Let's play 4 Caius.
Gotcha. And then one thing I noticed just now, or maybe, I think I realized this before actually, but anyway, you guys all play 1 Breaker. Isn't that a coincidence?
So good.
Love it.
Breaker's great.
I cut it recently, actually, but
that's fucked.
What?
What? Hold on a second.
Did you cut it for consecrated?
Yeah, I got extra mask in there too.
I feel like the card anti-DDV and oppression killer. I feel like it's just so good in this deck. But
Breaker has won me multiple games against Value. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, same. I don't want to go talk to it, but do you guys put in Breaker against Blackwing? Because I don't. I was only doing it against like GBs.
I do because I play like enough prisons to protect it from Shura, and I like the pop a oppression and then run over a colluder blizzard is still pretty good.
Yeah, that makes sense. How are you, Beastmode? Did you put it in against Blackwings?
Breaker?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So I don't put it against Blackwings.
I put him against Blackwings. I put it against Value, and I love it. Love it.
No, I love Breaker too. Plus, can we agree Breaker's just like one of the sickest looking cards?
Yeah, Breaker's so fucking cool. He's a giga shit.
He gets over.
It doesn't get hit by deck Debbie. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it into Value. It's just I decided to make my Value matchup slightly worse to make like my Frog matchup a little better because there's so many frogs around. So it's always in the rotation though. So yeah.
Okay, and then going off this, so 2 of the 3 of you are playing this card. And I don't know how I feel about this card. I don't really play decks that use this card, so it just doesn't... It makes a little sense, but not too much sense. How are you guys... What matchup are you bringing this card in for? What cards are you signing out for it? Because obviously your deck is worse with this card as well. And I know you guys... Fitz, I think you're playing 3 Rug over this right now.
Correct. Yeah, I think it's definitely better in Hero, and then I'm curious to hear what Beastmode have to say about it in Offering as well. But yeah, for me, I think it conflicts a bit too much with like negating all my Monarchs, Divas, and the Reaper on the Nightmare. I've tried Skill Drain in the past with like other Diva zombie builds, and I just kind of preferred Rug for getting the body off the board because your win con is damage. So that's kind of just like leave my firepower and just go with the Rug approach. I do think Skill Drain is strong, but yeah, curious to see what these guys have to say.
Well, get ready. If you've all made it this long, here comes some real in-depth analysis. Ready? I woke up one morning, looked at my computer, rubbed my eyes like this, and threw 2 Skill Drain right on my side deck, just like that. And then I said, you know what goes good with Skill Drain? Beast King Barbo. So I threw one of those bad boys right in there. And then I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And topped the event. Easy peasy. Why is it good? Stops effects. What does Caius and Ryza and Frogs do to you? They have a lot of effects, so I like to stop them. I side deck out Divas, I side deck out Dark Arm, I do all kind of fun things. I side deck out Book of Life.
You side
sometimes
out
if I'm-
Dark Armed?
Oh, I take all kind of. I do crazy things that people have no idea what's going on. A year ago, I was side decking out all my zombie package. People brought in triple DD Crow. I just like to have a good time.
Who are you? All right, Jake, you're playing this card too.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing this card for a long time. I just biggest reason I was playing it was for frogs, but I now think this card's actually a little mid versus frogs. Just because like yeah, it's really good. It's really good early on, but once they start cooking, and once they already started cooking, like it's still really hard to get over like monarchs, and then also like once they find like one of their discard traps, like you just kind of get cooked anyways. But like my solution is just to play a bunch of them, so I play these and rugs, so they can only have answers for many of them. But the biggest reason why I play it is it destroys all the tier 2 decks. Like this card destroys Light Sworns, like it helps destroy that matchup. It destroys Crystal Sworn, it destroys Quick Draw Plants. It's really good against GBs. It helps my GB matchup a lot. It's like the reason why like I rate it so highly. And I also put one in against value sometimes when I'm going first, second. And it's also just even good against a lot of Hamster Rifle Kai's decks. Like you can throw it in. So,
I forgot that Silchus used to play this card mainly because of Gladiator Beast. I totally forgot that was a thing.
yeah, I started playing
They
it because
book
of him.
They book though. That's a
He used to
problem.
play like
Doesn't work
Goku
well.
N with it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they book.
Yeah,
Oh,
they,
yeah, they
they
play
can still find a
Goku.
book and Trapstone. They can still find a book or Trapstone, but it's still worthwhile playing. So,
It's
like,
good versus value too. That's another reason.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
side
it's
it.
good versus
Yeah.
value. It's good versus value going first for sure. Yeah.
So Jake,
I only played one.
you said you're playing this and rug now?
No, I play this and Mask.
Oh, okay. Where?
But
So
I honestly I gotta re-strategize like my frog side. Like I'm actually struggling with the matchup a little bit right now. Right.
so you don't know if this card is going to stay going forward.
I mean, I thought about cutting it, but it's so good against the other decks. Like, it's so good against like the rest of the field. Like I don't know what Quick Draw does once this gets flipped, or like I don't know what Machina can do. Like outside of Fortress, like the rest of their package is done. Like it's so good versus Light Sworns. Yeah, it just has a really good spread around against all the other matchups.
I didn't
I
side
cut-
it in Texas.
Yeah.
And Nats. I didn't side it.
Did you have it in your side?
No, I didn't. But I could wake
Oh.
up tomorrow and decide that to throw on my robe and then just it happens. It could happen.
Yeah. And
For no rhyme or reason. It could just be like I look outside and it's beautiful and I say I'm gonna throw Skill Drain in.
Did you put in rug over skill drain and nats?
I had double rug. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I have to look at my deck list. I didn't play any frogs in Nats. I like that.
That's crazy.
Right.
Zero.
Well,
yeah, to be honest, like this is like one of the 4 cards. Like I don't think I'll ever cut for my side deck. So with the decrease.
Oh, okay. This
So-
card's just that good.
Yeah, and my other friend who plays deck all the time, like Ichigo/Tia, he loves this card. Like he
Mhm.
really rides for it, and he plays zombies all the time too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely better in Hero where you just pump out Stardust Dragon as well.
oh my yeah, there we go. That's why it's so good too. Stardust plus this card is like so hard to lose.
Yeah, it's like the
against
old.
like a lot of decks I named.
It's like the old Spark Vanny's Emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question. This is mainly for me, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. How the hell do you guys live with yourselves with these cards? Because obviously you guys don't think these cards are that bad if you guys are still playing zombies for so long. Like these cards are obviously everywhere with Volume and Blackwing being everywhere. I know you guys use Breaker and Assailant, but just like I don't know, these cards are just so disgusting.
Yeah, no, it's bad. I've lost many games to just those 2 traps alone. I think deck dev is actually worse than oppression, which might be a crazy thing to hear. But like
Agreed.
oppression, you can read it. You can wait and make a push a lot of the time. Just sit on turtle. Like I have my diva, I'm not going to do anything yet until I like draw my Dust Tornado to make sure that I can chain it. Like this card hasn't been activated for a while. I'm just going to like summon Caius, target that one because I have it the read. It's oppression. Like there's counterplay to it. Deck dev, like you might just before you even get to play lose 4 out of your 6 cards, which I mean it's a gut punch every time it happens. You had your bets. You bring in Dust Tornadoes or Trap Stuns. You lessen your monster count, and you kind of just have to eat the variance. Deck dev is a super frustrating card, but I don't. It's not that often they're firing it turn 1. Pretty rare, in fact. And yeah, I mean sometimes it'll get you. Sometimes like you'll be able to like have a sometimes you'll be able to keep them off it. Like I've won a lot of games against Blackwing where they draw it without the Sirocco. And like if I'm Book of Lifing their stuff so they can't Blizzard into Armed Wing, like I've just beaten them down with them having like
They have a
Breaker
-1,
and
yeah.
yeah, like Breaker and Assailant, I'll go like summon this, set Bottomless, and just beat them down while they're setting their deck dev and Oppression, you know? So like, yeah, like I've gotten blown out by these cards. There's some counterplay to it. It sucks. Like I wish they weren't so prevalent, but yeah, I mean that's kind of my take on the matter.
I guess I'll go. So, Deck Devi and Royal Oppression, if they weren't in the format, I feel like zombies would probably be like unbelievable. Like maybe tier 1
Yeah.
S maybe. Like they'd be probably unbelievable. Frogs maybe would be there, but and that's kind of where I've been at. Like for a long time, I really don't want to like have to play zombies. Like I feel like I'm really good with the deck, and that's what, and like I'm comfortable playing most players. And the problem is when you top with the deck, when you make the top 16 cut, top 8 cut, you're gonna see all of these cards. The Duck Devies, the Royal Oppressions, because those decks are just so good. Bayou's there all the time, Blackwing's just there, and then you already have the issues with Frog to begin with. So that's why this deck seems to just not get there a lot of the time, because yeah, you go 7-0 in Swiss and you play it against a bunch of people, you know, maybe they're not that great, who knows, and then you get in the top cut, and now you're playing against these tier 1 decks continuously. It's hard to go and win 3 or 4 rounds in a row in a top cut against Deck Devi and Royal Oppression, because it's a matter of time before it flips at the wrong time and you just lose. And the deck has a difficult time dealing with it. So that's kind of the reason why when I go to these events, I already know that I'm at a disadvantage playing the deck. You know what I mean? Despite how well I play the deck and how often I top, I still have not won because those decks are just better, right? And it's a matter of time before, unless it's your day, maybe it's your day. Going there playing this deck, you have to be okay with the fact that there's going to be a Royal Oppression that's going to flip, and you're not going to have the Dust Tornado, and you can't play the game. It's going to happen. So you either play Frogs, Blackwing, Bayou, the decks that abuse these cards and have little to no counterplay. Really, there's no side deck card that really stops them. You know, Blackwing. What do you side deck? We're side decking Dust Tornado, a 1-for-1. That's a big side deck card for the deck. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Where they put in Royal Oppression, you can't even play. So my point is, if you choose to play this deck, you have to be okay with the fact that yeah, maybe you go 6-0 in top 8, but you're gonna have a tough time in the top cut. It's gonna happen. So.
Yeah, completely. Everything Beastmode just said, completely agree. I think that's the biggest reason why like I don't make it that far. Besides like I'm not good enough. And same thing with Fitz. It's just like you are just gonna run into these cards, and it's kind of inevitable. But I've come to terms with them. Like they don't even really tell me that much anymore. It's just part of the format. I do think deck dev is worse than Oppression, because Oppression has actually like a lot of counterplay. Oh yeah, I take that back.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Oppression has a lot of ways to read it, and you can kind of like kind of play around it sometimes. Like
it will still sometimes get you for sure.
Yeah,
There will be a
it's
time
easy
in the
to read.
tournament where you're like, well, that was an Oppression game, but
Yeah.
like it at least has there are ways to prepare for it and read it and whatnot. But yeah, sorry.
For sure. No, exactly. Basically, like I'm not gonna use my special summon stuff if it could be Oppression. I have to make sure it's not, or I use it like a really crappy one, right? But like deck dev, there's nothing I can do. They just deck dev in turn 1. Like this happens all the time. There's like no read, there's no counterplay. But you know, you lose. But you're allowed to like when you're playing zombies. Like for all the zombie people watching this, like I think it's like a big difference between like yeah, I guess like someone who plays zombies as much as me and everyone else is like you just have to accept like you can lose like outright. You're allowed to lose these games. Like you know it's you're playing like 7 to 10 rounds like in a bracket. You're allowed to lose games, and like with explosive power of our deck, like you're gonna win cheap ways just as much. Like the chance they open up like Oppression or like Deck Devi and Sirocco is the same chance like I'm gonna open up Miracle Fusion and Future Fusion, you know, or whatever. Maybe it's slightly higher because they play 3 Siroccos, but you get my point. So you're allowed to lose these games. Like you're gonna get cheap wins, you're gonna get cheap losses. Like it's just part of it. You're allowed to lose these. You're allowed to have these losses in these big tournaments. The only way these cards like really cripple you is if like you let it boom your mental, and like you let yourself like spiral and you start playing bad like in game 3 or like over the course of like a long day. So these are just the inevitable cards of the format that we play, and there's nothing you can do, you know. It's like you're just gonna lose games to them, but you gotta power through. So yeah, There's just to add on to everything that like they said, because they took the words out of my mouth. So
Damn, yeah, I don't know. The pressure one definitely makes sense. I remember there's one War League match that Beastmode played where the guy had oppression 2 out of 3 games at like the worst spot possible. Actually, no, he misplayed, so then you didn't think it was oppression, and then he flipped oppression.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was so
Yeah.
dumb. It was so
I
dumb.
like synchro summon Brio and he's like thumbs up. I'm like, oh okay, and I like combo off and he's like oppression. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Okay, well, it happens. Whatever.
it was so weird.
And there are games you win because they don't do enough or they can find it too late. So I
Yeah.
find solace in that.
There,
You know?
it's definitely a double-edged sword. Yeah, speaking as a value player, yeah, it's definitely somewhat a double-edged sword.
One edge is a lot more duller, but yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, and then the last slide. So, future of zombies. I definitely think it's unsolved. I don't know what you guys think about it. Jake, I know your list is pretty refined at this point, but I do think there's room for optimization. I'm wondering if you guys think there's a new potential zombie variant, you know, like Ultimate Offering zombies was a thing, now Instant Zombies is a thing. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, are you guys still refining your list, you think, or you think like, you know, it's like value where 36 out of 40-ish are pretty solved and it's just like 4-ish preference cards, or is there just a completely new, I don't know if you guys want to leak, but maybe a new potential or underslept zombie strategy?
I guess I can go, or Fitz can go.
Yeah, go ahead, Beast.
So I think that the Ultimate Offering build has a lot left to, you can explore significantly. Like there's no one really playing the list, you know what I mean? And if I were to guess where there could be some changes, it's probably, obviously we play a load of traps, but could be somewhere with Ill Blood. I think that card's really busted. Maybe there's a way to cheese with that card and maybe start using it like a Gemini. Again, I'm just speaking off the top of my head. I'm not saying that that's absolutely going to happen, but I think there are some ways to with Ill Blood, because you can, you know, extend plays and do all that. Probably needs to be around spells of some sort. They have to find a way to use, because spells you can play, they don't have to, you know, they're not slow essentially. So if you're trying to speed up the deck, it would have to be some type of spell and or a broken monster effect. So I think that there's room to innovate with the deck. You know, I must say, I don't think the Scrap Iron Scarecrow is that crazy of an innovation. I'm not sure people even play it, but I think there's bigger and better things. So that's my 2 cents.
Fitz, you wanted to say something?
Honestly, I wasn't gonna say that much. Yeah, if there's a new potential zombie variant, I'm not really aware of it.
What about your instant? What about your instant build? Do you think it's like pretty optimized for you, for like you and your playstyle, or?
I think like I feel pretty good about the main. I think there's like 2 to 4 cards that I would like tweak depending on what I'm expecting, and then I could like fiddle with the side again. But like I think that version of zombie, like I feel pretty good about.
You're sold on
the
Ryza?
instant. Yes,
understand.
with the amount of like instant Book of Life plus recruiters I play, I think it's a clean ratio of payoff to
Okay.
Monarch. So I think it's staying.
That's sick.
Yeah, I don't know. I've played with it for like this entire year, I guess, and I feel pretty good about it. So yeah, I don't know. I also haven't touched Edison in like a month, so no real.
You're playing
cooking
that
as of late for
alternate
me.
Edison format. I know you're playing that like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jake, I know you, I mean, you haven't changed your main deck
Yeah.
in like, I don't know, 3 months. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, my main deck has been pretty like 36 cards of my main deck have like been the same for like a year now. So I think it's kind of reached like this, at least Diva Hero Zombies, I think has reached like this 36, 35 like value turbo type refinement. And I've tested and played so much this year. I've tested so many different cards. I've tried so many things, so many different ideas, ran it by Theorcraft, and like I just can't. I'm just like kind of getting to the point where it's hard for me to refine any more past personal preference. Like I said, there's like things you can change, but it's like just like, for example, like I prefer Solomon, you know, like I just prefer like the Sarps. Like there's things like this, but you know, there's like other players like playing it now, like Zabo and Silchas. So I'm excited to see like how they can change it or refine it. But I'm personally tapped out. I'm also like just kind of personally like tapped out at Edison a little bit. Like I'm gonna go to Arbet New York and Anaheim, but like I kind of don't really find fulfillment in like playing Edison anymore, or like grinding ladder like the way I used to. You know, like I used to just be able to play and like get fulfilled and like have fun, just play like ladder for 2-3 hours a day. Like now it just feels like a chore. Like I'm just kind of at the end of like my quote unquote career, I feel. So like refinement's not going to be like coming for me. And like I said earlier, I'm pretty like I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished with the deck and list and like the markets left. But that said, me and my friend Television, we have been messing around with some more zombie variations. We were playing it on the ladder, and someone was playing versus, and they said it was like playing against a fantasy, like it was like something out of a work of a fiction. It was like a fiction, so it's called Fantasy Zombies.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Oh boy.
They said it's like a work of fiction. Their words, not mine.
Now.
Yeah, not words that. Another's called it Hope Zombies, you know, 'cause they said something like, you know, it gave them hope for the format. So, maybe that'll pop up at Rulers somewhere else. Who knows? Might just see my regular Diva Hero Zombies, but, you know, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Jake, you'll be back in the Edison streets. You might just need a break.
Yeah,
I know
Yeah,
you'll be
I
back.
might
Just a
just
break.
tap out for a bit. I might
Yeah.
tap out for I just, dude, I
I'm
used
taking
to
a break,
grind
and it's
that
awesome.
ladder.
But
Yeah.
I'll be back in a big
Oh,
way.
I
for
actually
sure.
play ladder so much. I'm just don't even pack. Dude, it's just like it's this
Bro,
little
it's-
tangent,
yeah.
but like it's hard to. Zombies is like a really high maintenance deck. You know, like you don't have to agree, but like it's hard to know all these lines and remember all these lines. So
Yeah.
like just every single turn, there's so many lines to pick from, and then if you're out of practice, like I've noticed, like I've been playing this week, it's so much worse because I haven't been playing since Nats either, like you guys, or like even Maryland. So it's I'm playing so much worse. It's not the same. It's like I just don't want to put in this type of time anymore. You know, to maintaining like such a high maintenance deck. Yeah, I wish I played Black Wings. Wish I played Black Wings.
Stop! Don't say that.
It would be a lot easier to play without practice. So.
Okay, I'm gonna skip the why don't you think more players play zombies? I feel like it's pretty obvious if you've been listening to this rant about playing a tier 1.5 deck the whole time. But
Tier two.
1.5.
I don't know. It's definitely
it's
not.
1.5.
It's
let's
one-
say.
yeah.
The
We're at a
tier two
disadvantage, but it's
agenda
not
won't
that
die on
big.
my watch.
But okay, so what advice would you give up and coming zombie players? Because obviously there's a lack of zombie players, and I feel like people do get discouraged when playing this deck. So what would you say to those guys who are like trying to pick up this deck and have success with it?
Stop synchroing. I see far too much of it. People just like to slam.
Yeah.
If you play hero slam, that's what you do with that deck. If you're not, you're synchroing too much. And I
Yeah.
think on one of my videos, I actually counted out my tournament run when I top 8'd. I synchroed like 23 times total in the entire tournament in a 20 out of 24 games. You're synchroing way too much.
Yeah, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Especially like into back row, that's like the easiest way to just lose game is just like blowing your synchro load too early, and like you can't you use up your brio early and eats a bottomless. Like it becomes so much harder to win the game. You need to grind through the back row
You gotta be
first.
smart. Yeah, you gotta be
Yeah.
smart about your brio. Yeah. and
I think the other mistake I see a lot of people making too is just like it takes like the recruiters, like yeah, they're slow and it really sucks to just like sit on them for like 3 to 4 turns, but sometimes you have to. Like
Mhm.
you need to maximize the value of all your cards. And people will just like sit on a turtle for like 2 turns and be like, I'm sick of waiting, let me just summon Plague and synchro with it, and you're just like not gonna get there doing that. You like need to make sure that your engine pieces get to your goblin zombie to then like start grinding through and making your plays. And yeah, it sucks, but it like comes with the territory of the deck. So I would say
Patience
like
is
however,
key.
however patient you need to be patient like an extra turn or 2. Like
Mhm.
your opponent can't get through your stuff either. Like take the time to assemble cards that can actually like trade 1-for-1 or favorably into your opponent's stuff, and then start going from there.
Yeah. First of all, you gotta subscribe to Beastmode.
Yeah.
Big agree.
Facts.
Second, you gotta hold your MST every single game. for
Yup.
oppression. Every single game. You just gotta
Yep.
hold it. You can't use it. I don't
Yep.
care if everything gets deprisoned. You can't use that shit unless you're about to game them or they flip MST. I mean oppression. Other than that, you just gotta play a lot. And yeah, and like learn your combos and learn your lines. And yeah, the biggest struggle with the deck is making the right read at the right time and knowing when to strike. Like it's just
Mhm.
knowing when to go all in. Yeah, sometimes with heroes going all in, like on turn 1 and dropping your hand, like Beastmo said, is the right play because you have a bottomless, like you're sort of protected. Other times it's like it's passing, waiting, setting, sitting on your recruiters, gathering your resources. It's literally just finding the right time to strike. And that's a lot of what the deck is. And of course is resource management. And I know it's like really vague, but you really need to count your resources and your outs and like manage them properly and your graveyard and just plan for return and like knowing like which cards are more valuable in like this situation. For example, like you're going into a big play with 3 back row. Do you use your Miracle first? Do you use your Mizuki first? Like, do you summon your Kais first? Like just knowing on like these big pushes, like what is the resources you expend first? Yeah, in addition to everything they said. I think what Fitz said is and beast mode is like most important is like sitting on your recruiters and like waiting. So
And I'll make one
Yeah.
last point. Like, if you're playing the deck, I always play the deck as if it's just a +1 -1 game. Like, I don't care enough. Of course, if you can OTK, you OTK. But my goal is if I can just win with Caius and grinding and have +2, +3 at the end of the game, then I won. Like, you can't really lose the game if you have 4 or 5 more cards
Yeah.
than your opponent, unless they just OTK out of nowhere, right? So
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not the greatest at all the OTK lines and find this line and do all these crazy synchro. Like, I miss all that stuff. But I can sit there and wait for you to attack my pyramid turtle for 37 turns because I will sit there and wait. And if I lose in between that, well, I lost. But if you play slow and you play for advantage, you're gonna win a lot more games than just trying to be flashy and I got the diva combo, I'm gonna OTK, and like you misplay and you don't make the right synchros, and then they just clap you back next turn because you didn't kill them.
You just got to be patient. Exactly. Patience is like the
Patience.
biggest thing.
Fitz
Is
is
the
right.
biggest thing. Yeah. Yeah. Also, one more is you need to have the mental of a god because you're playing a dog deck and you get sacked. You're gonna have bad hands and you get sacked by like the one-off traps. You just gotta have mental gods. Like you're gonna draw them alleys. You're gonna all this stuff. So
Nah, just don't play Mally, bro.
I just feel you need a good mental to
Agreed.
play zombies. You need to have a good mental to play zombies.
Yeah, it's mentally draining, I'm sure, every tournament. Well, guys, that's all I have for
That's-
you. Any closing thoughts, or I guess that was it.
I'll see everybody at New York. I know I haven't posted any videos. I've just been caught up, family, kids. I haven't played any tournaments. I only played 4 tournaments this year, and I'm sorry. I know people want to see videos, so I will try once I'm done with New York.
After I'll do a quick shout out. First shout out to Tia and Ichigo, like my main practice partner. Play with them all the time, and like my other like practice partners like Jordan, Jared, and Harry. And then shouts to the Team Iron and Team Bucks, my War League teams, and all of my New York guys. So you guys know who you are. So yeah.
Yeah. Much love to Team Iron gang for sure. Thanks for having me on, Sizzle. And I guess a quick closing remark. Yeah, zombies is not tier 1, and it's pretty it's exhausting to play, and you have to deal with some variants and whatnot. But like, it is. I think a big part of the reason we all play it is because we do find the deck very fun, and it's very rewarding to play it well and win with it. And if it's we've shown that you can top with it, and I got second at a tournament, and honestly, I might have been able to win it if I didn't misplay in the finals. Like the deck is still competitive. If it's your day, you can definitely make a run with it. So
for sure.
we'd love to have more zombie players in the club. It's definitely
For sure.
not as
We're this
bad as
close.
the zombie fearmonger is out there make it seem to be. It's
Yeah.
a fun, rewarding deck. It can be hard, but it's like a cool deck.
Yeah.
It's fun to try to improve it and make a run with it. So yeah, I think that's about all I had to say.
We got the sickest deck. You know what? Shout out to the zombie channel too. On
There you go.
on that as a format. Shout out to them. They're always cooking up some stuff.
On paper, zombies like one of the most powerful decks. I feel like plays all the good one-ups, but yeah. Okay, well, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on this on my channel. It's been almost 2 hours of yapping about
been a
zombies.
while.
Yeah, so really appreciate your time. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Pleasure hanging out.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Thank you, Sackers.
All right. Peace
Take
out,
it easy,
guys.
Peace, boys.